Across the UK, online and on DAB. Access all radios.
Talk Radio. Give it some lip. Talk Radio.
Yes, evening, this is Iain Lee, this is Talk Radio. Our busy show tonight, it's the 10th anniversary of Guy Goma. And we're going to celebrate it by playing the clip and asking, where were you when Guy Goma?
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow, I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
Yeah, rap fans, and welcome to the hundreds of new listeners. What we must have got, this is Iain Lee, good evening. The hundreds of new listeners, what we've got today, because, well, over on the other station, they seem to have given up the fight. They've actually given up the fight on LBC. And you know who they've put on, don't you? If I could get their website to work, I'd play you some. They've put on the most awful pantomime villain of all time. Their website doesn't seem to be working, which is hang on, whatever. Yes, I'm in London. There we go. Let's 08444991000 is the phone number this evening. We're going to play things slightly differently. Not newish callers. I'm still kind of trying to find a way to get newer voices in. Not in any way knocking anybody that calls in at all. I love it, but it'll be nice to encourage newer voices and new callers and people who are a little bit shy. And I'm aware that it can feel a little bit like a sort of, a bit of a private club that strangers aren't welcome in. Au contraire, nothing could be further from the truth. So tonight, you can only call in if you've not called in the last...
Well, I'm not religious. Actually, I think religion is the root of all evil. It's the cause of most of our fighting in this planet today.
Here we go.
And do I ever want to go back inside a church? Not really. I've been married in one twice. My first one was...
Yeah, well, they wouldn't let you in, Damien.
So, I'm not sure about religion myself, but that aside, should we have Glory Be to God, Subhan Allah, written across our red buses?
Yes, she's doing the Muslim advert on the bus! Muslim advert on the bus. She's doing the Muslim advert on the bus. The Muslim advert on the bus.
Of course she is.
She's doing the Muslim advert on the side of a bus. She's doing the Muslim advert on the side of a bus. She's doing the Muslim advert on the side of a bus. Imagine, of course she's doing that. It's a nonsense story. That's in the papers. I saw it in the papers, right? It's a nonsense story. Fury. After there is, the headline is something like, and I jotted it down because I suspected that would be. No, I didn't jot it down because I thought it was too obvious. Fury. An advert promoting Islam on the side of a bus after a Christian advert was banned in the cinema.
Yeah.
Well,
different regulatory authority.
That's like two completely different things. Let's delve in more. Hang on, it's booting up. Here we go. Booting up. Boot her up.
She'll still be on the...
I'm well.
Good. Nice to talk to you, long-time fan. I'm absolutely outraged. You probably get, I think it's fair to say, a lot of lefties calling in tonight who will be berating you.
How can you be
she won't. They're all listening to us.
How can you be a long-time fan of that? Long-time fan, Katie. I'm a long-time fan of yours.
I'm really glad you said that.
Katie Hopkins. I'm a long-time fan of yours.
Liked her on The Apprentice.
I've spoken to her, and off air she's a nice woman. On air she goes into pantomime villainry. I'm a long-time fan of yours, Katie. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Can I just say, a lot of people have said, Ian, phone up like you did with TalkSport. Lee, I think there is a law, and we need to check this. So we're not going to do it. I think it is illegal now, after Nick Abbott did it years ago, to phone up other radio stations when you're on air. I think. We'll double check that. I think that's an Ofcom rule now.
Oh, is it?
I think it is, actually. So
kind of etiquette, isn't it?
Well, I won't be doing that. And can I just say, please, dear listeners, do not phone up Katie Hopkins on LBC and prank call her and send me the audio.
That would be bad.
Do not do that. And I'm saying, do not phone her up and prank her and send me the audio. Don't do it. Seriously, don't do it, because that would be bang out of order. So for tonight's show, it's if you've called in the last 2 weeks, thank you very much. We'll speak tomorrow possibly or later in the week, but not tonight. Now, I'm always aware that by putting these restrictions on a show, it makes it harder work for me. And particularly for a brand new station where we're week 8 now. I think it's show, 36, I think. We're not really spoiled for choice for callers. But I'm hoping if you're listening to this at home, could you turn those side lights off? It's the middle, I think it's that green light there, or maybe the one above it. No, that, down, there, hold, there, boom. If you're sat at home listening and thinking, I've toyed with the idea of phoning him up, and then do it. If you phoned in the first couple of weeks, we had a few people that called in the first couple of weeks and then didn't call again, now is an excellent time to call. Or if you're thinking, I really want to hear that talentless, obnoxious, has-been struggle, then don't call for the entire night. And that is what will happen. 0844 499 1000. The way it works in the first 2 hours of the show, because we will have loads of new callers tonight and listeners anyway. The way it works in the first 2 hours of the show, you phone up, you'll speak to Id at the moment, he'll take your name and number, he'll call you back straight away. So it's not even going to cost you that much money. After midnight, things change a little bit when we take calls straight to air. But just, indulge me one more time. It's buffering.
Religious freedom and religious liberty. And it's very important that people should worship God or whatever God...
For God. We'll be having none of that nonsense tonight. Tonight I thought we could just dick around a bit.
Yeah, let's talk about Guy Goma.
Oh, it's the 10th anniversary of Guy Goma. Are you aware, Ian, of who Guy Goma is?
I have no idea who.
It's Guy Goma's day.
You were out of the country.
Is this like Ed Ball's day? Did Guy Goma Facebook his own name?
It's better. Guy Goma is awesome. And for those of you, I remember where I was when I first heard of Guy Goma. I was online, probably sat in front of a computer, I think. And Guy Goma was brilliant. Everyone thought he was a taxi driver, a little bit racist. He wasn't. He was attending the BBC for an interview for a job, right? And it was it News 24 then? Is that what it was called then? I don't know.
So, yeah.
And
he was an IT man, wasn't he?
He was an IT man, and suddenly and I don't know how this has happened because I've been to the BBC News offices, right? There is no way you can get thrust on set whilst making a mistake like that. Basically, they thought he was there as an expert to talk about Apple.
Well, if they'd asked him whether he was there to talk about Apple, I guess as an IT man, he might have agreed.
Didn't he think that was part of the interview?
I'm guessing.
Well, let's have.
I have seen this. I do remember this.
Yes, let's have a listen. Here we go.
The industry and the growth of music online. Well, Guy Goma is the editor of the technology website News Wireless. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Were you surprised by this verdict today?
I'm very surprised to see this verdict to come on me, because I was not expecting that. When I came, they told me something else, and I'm coming. You got an interview there, so it's a big surprise anyway.
A big surprise.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah. With regards to the cost that's involved, do you think now more people will be downloading online?
Actually, if you can go everywhere, you're gonna see a lot of people downloading to the internet and the website, everything they want. But I think
what is brilliant is that they go to a reporter outside, and the reporter says, "Well, as your expert just said,
they want to get
is that
on the easy way and so fast the things they're looking for."
This does really seem to be the way the music industry is progressing now.
He's
that people
not
want
saying
to
anything.
go onto the website and download music.
Exactly. You can go everywhere on the cyber cafe and you can check. You can go easy. It's going to be a very easy way for everyone to get something to the internet.
Thank you, thanks very much indeed. I think we can now also speak to Rob Pitton, who's at the
Put your foot in it, Pitton.
court for us this morning. Hello to you, Rob. What do you think this means for the future of the industry, the music industry?
Well, I think we just heard there, first of all, it comes as something of a shock because in the previous hands at least...
Say that again, it came as a shock.
Did he get hired in the end?
No.
Oh, he totally should have.
No, he ended up hosting 8 out of 10 Cats for a second.
Yeah, he was a bit of a sensation.
It's 10 years. 0844 499 1000. It's 10 years to the day, as near as damn it, that Guy Goma first broke on our scenes. And in many ways, like Rick Waller and Michelle McManus, their star shone so brightly and then faded into nothingness. Where is Michelle McManus? Because she wasn't as obnoxious as Waller was.
No.
Waller was
and then he had a sore throat, didn't he? Couldn't sing anymore.
Yeah, it's from all that.
Whoa.
He is. I've met Waller. He was on Rise. Now listen, when you're on Rise, you're really at your star is at its lowest ebb. Okay, you're in no position to make demands. Mm-hmm. And he was throwing his weight
around.
He was like a right little diva. It was only Rick. Well, I remember saying to Kate Lawler, he won't last long in show business, love. Not one attitude like that.
Wow.
But McManus was all right, wasn't she?
She was delightful.
Michelle McManus. I wonder what happened to her. 0844 499 1000. We'll start the show in a minute. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Rashid.
Yeah, what?
You've been on in the last 2 weeks.
I know.
Well, the rule... I'm flipping it. What is it?
Oh, sorry.
I'm about to say, Rashid, what is it with these people? You're not going to take that as a racial slur, are you? I'm referring to idiots, not an ethnicity.
No, I don't mind that. That's fine.
What is it with these people?
I don't know.
Rashid, the rules are very, very simple. Let me state them for you.
Go on.
You cannot call this evening if you have been on the show in the last 2 weeks or your phone signal is pony. And both of those things apply to you, Rashid.
Well, after midnight they can ring, can't they?
Well, yeah, after midnight we can...
anything goes.
Straight to her. This is Iain Lee, this is Talk Radio, this is Catherine, who's the producer, and she sometimes wanders in the studio. It is through there. Good evening,
Hello,
Ian.
good evening.
The way it works is, we're not going to be talking... we're not going to be talking about... the Muslim advert on the side of a bus. We're not going to be talking about Sadiq Khan being the mayor of London.
We're going to do Brexit tonight.
No, we can't. We can't because we're still in the thing. I do want to say though, actually, what we'll do is we'll talk nonsense, basically. It's a laugh, right? But that election last week, all of the elections, the PCCs and the Mayor of London and all your council elections, wasn't it boring? It was really boring. Now, I like a good vote up me. I love going down and casting my ballot and all of that stuff. I love lending my vote to somebody. That's the correct term. I only had PCCs in my area, and I couldn't be bothered. It was enough boring. It was really boring campaign, boring votes. I mean, the London mayoral campaign was good because it had a bit of racism in it. And I'm about to say I like that. I don't like racism, but I like watching people make a pig's ear of stuff more than I am. So I enjoyed the racial overtones in it.
The nastiness.
And the fact that both Khan and Goldsmith are the biggest slimy plastic politicians there. Both of them are slimy little so-and-sos, careerists. But I thought the whole thing, and then I listened to it a bit on the way back. I flicked between LBC, boring, and Radio 4, boring but not quite as boring. And it was just, I mean, people were getting results. This tiny little island off Scotland has been held by a Lib Dem. Oh. And Labour lost a bit, but then they won. Oh, for crying out! Who gives a? I mean, flipping.
Do you know what I missed round my way? A battle bus. I didn't see one.
Yeah,
not even a Robin Reliant with a flag in it. Nothing. They think that by sending you a letter now that'll do. Well, I want more attention.
You don't get. Excuse me, coughing. I'm still shaking off the end of this cold. I'm deaf again in my ear. I'm deaf, and I'm worried that someone. And I don't want to say a gypsy.
Don't then.
But it might be a gypsy or a voodoo man has cast a spell on me. Put a hex on me, put a jinx on me. That's the phone in. Boom. 0844 499 1000. How do I undo a hex? And have you ever had, I've done this before and loads of people have had it. Have you ever had a jinx, a hex or a voodoo spell cast on you? 0844 499 1000. Boom. We're into the show, and the phones have gone mental. Let's bring Mark into the conversation. Mark, tell us about your hex, your voodoo spell, or your jinx that was placed on you, please.
Well, the jinx I had, oh goodness me, many years ago. It's got to be something to do with football, actually, because I am a supporter of Macclesfield Town.
Yeah.
And sometimes, when I go to the home games, we always get beat.
Right.
So I always think it's just obviously a bit of a hex on me or a bit of a jinx. Am I a jinx to Matt Town? Something like that.
But then everybody would think, because I don't like sports, but I can understand why people get into little rituals if that something that if something they are doing seems to work and their team does well, or they get that job, or they get like dirty sex. Or dirty cash.
Crikey, that popped out of nowhere, didn't it?
I know, and I apologise for that. Yeah. That's what made it so dirty. Or dirty cash. Do you know, you follow dirty cash, I want you, dirty cash, I need you, oh.
I need you, oh.
Money talks, money talks. Who sang that? You started for 10, Mark.
The Adventures of Stevie V, it was.
Yeah! Don't you remember? We had him on the show once.
Mark, have we ever spoken before?
We have about 4 weeks ago, I must be honest.
All right, so you're within the threshold.
Yes, I'm within the threshold.
Well, within the threshold. Well, you, mate, I'm going to, let me just, hang on, I've got a piece of paper here. Mark, whereabouts are you from, Mark?
I'm from Liverpool.
Mark?
And you support Macclesfield, that's a brave move.
Liverpool. Because I worked at a local radio station around here for many years or so. And they used to score the Macclesfield Town, every single Saturday.
You can hear me.
I thought...
I've drawn this, and people on Periscope can see this. I've written and signed, and we will send this to you by carrier pigeon. A free gold pass, Mark, and that means you are such a good caller, such a top-notch caller, that whenever I do one of these ridiculous self-imposed nights where I make it hard for myself, you can call in. For example, if we were to say no one called Mark can call in, you could call in, you'd phone up, you'd give this pass, you'd wave this pass to Id, and you would get straight to the front of the queue. Okay,
no questions
we will send that to you later on, Mark. That's an absolute promise.
Do you know what? I've got a bonus for you as well, Ian.
You've got a what for me?
You would ask.
Bonus.
I've got a bonus for you.
Bonus, for goodness sakes! I thought
you would. Because you were asking about Michelle McManus.
Oh yeah. Go on.
She works for STV in Scotland.
Does she?
She presents a show called The Hour with Stephen Jardine, who used to be on GMTV, I think, many years ago.
And how long is that on for?
An hour.
What's it about? What happens in the Owl with Michelle McManus?
It's a bit like the one show mixed in with something else, like Can't Cook, Won't Cook and stuff like that, basically. So it's a bit of a lifestyle.
I bet she's all right on that, isn't she?
Yeah, she's, from what I've seen, yeah, because I have to tune into it on Sky sometimes, so I thought, right, and, I think she gets shown overnight as well, because they have this weird service called the Night Shift, where people can text in, and they have the Night Shift, it's called.
My headphones are terrible. She's good, because I liked her. I mean,
she had a warmth, didn't she?
She seemed like a nice person.
Yeah. And
I like the fact that she bucked. Did she won like Pop Idol or whatever it was? Or she
they kept telling her she couldn't, and then she did. Yeah,
and I like the fact that she bucked the trend and proved them all wrong. And basically, it's a fat woman defies all of our many of our preconceived ideas of what a pop singer should look like.
But they still couldn't sell her though, could they? Because they tend to market them in the same way, which is miniskirt and gyrations.
But they've had Simon Cowell has had so few massive successes from that. But the successes, One Direction, obviously the big one.
Yeah.
And J-Love, what are they called? JLS.
JLS.
Not J-Lo.
And
Go on.
The lad.
Go on, squeeze it out.
The lad. He did a Bollywood song. Gay boy.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Think of his name.
Which?
Particular. Narrow it down. I'm only saying that because what was it? What is his name?
Will Young!
He didn't win.
Oh, Will Young, that's it, yeah.
Did he not win? No, I'm not talking about winning. I'm talking about successes that he signed up to his... And I was using gay as a descriptive term, guys, before we get our first Ofcom.
Meaning happy.
Thank you very much. But I'm talking about the successes, right? Because some of the... Remember Leona Lewis was going to be the new Beyonce? She was good!
Yeah.
Didn't work.
I don't think... They didn't win, did they?
Why are you talking about winning? I'm not talking about winning.
I know, but what I'm saying is it pays not to win in those programs.
Yeah. Will Young won. Will Young won.
Did he?
Will Young won.
Gareth Gates
too.
Gareth Gates, yeah.
But JLS didn't win. Hearsay won. And Girls Aloud won. Liberty X. Liberty X didn't win.
Yeah.
Liberty X didn't.
They didn't win.
They did a great pop video. They did two great pop videos.
Which one? The one with the...
One in the swimming pool and that one. Yeah.
Indeed. I remember.
Well, I once danced that with a baguette.
Mark, did we get to the point of your phone call? Gold pass, Mark.
We did, yes, yeah, because it was about Michelle McManus.
Beautiful.
I said to Eve before, I said I knew Michelle McManus was, so but I thrown in the jig set there as well, because he asked me about the jig set, so I'll throw that in as well.
Mark, it's typed on the screen. You have a gold pass. I look forward to speaking to you anytime you want, on Mondays to Fridays between the hours of 10 and 1. Is that okay?
That's brilliant, mate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. Ta-ta. There we go. You see, what a great first call. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. So far... and let's, if anyone was offended by my description of Will Young, I apologise. I'm thinking out loud, but if anyone's offended, I apologise. It's a humdinger of a start to the show. So we're asking, what are we asking, Catherine? Hope you've been keeping tally.
We're asking, your Guy Goma. Have you ever done one? A Guy Goma?
Have you ever done a Guy Goma? Have you ever met Guy Goma? Have you ever had a hex, a curse, a jinx, or a voodoo spell put on you? They do that. You don't see them so often now, but you see these horrible, horrible women in London who want you to take the lucky heather. And then you kind of take this horrible, tatty little bit of heather. And you go, all right, yeah, thanks. And they go, that'll be £5. You go, oh, no, I don't want that. I don't want to give you £5 for that. Yeah. And then they start effing and jeffing. No, I'm not. They start effing and jeffing, and they put a curse on you.
They still do that in Spain.
Well, they still do it in London sometimes. You can spot these people.
That was an old-fashioned tactic, though, wasn't it? Back in the day. Don't see it so much now.
Well, no, we've both just said that you still see it.
I don't see it.
You said it still happens in Spain.
Yeah, I've not seen it in London.
I've seen it in London. Yes, happens in London.
I remember him coming to the door once.
People coming to your door. We had this guy turned up at my door the other day, and I opened it, and I said yes. He went, "Hello, I'm David." I went, "Hello, David. Very nice to meet you." He said, "I live 2 streets away. I want to know what you had done to your..." He was very friendly. I'm making him sound harder and harsher.
You're making him sound creepy.
No, it was nice. He wanted to know what we'd had done to our roof. how we'd had it. We'd had some work done to our roof. He wanted to know who had done it and would we recommend them. I have no idea about any of those things. I let my wife deal with all of those things, and so I said. I said, well, the roof hasn't leaked and it's still up. So as far as I'm concerned,
2 bonuses.
That's got to be good news for the roof refurbishing industry. And he said, oh, okay, I'll come back later and speak to you. He never came back. Maybe he was fishing. Maybe it was a scam. And maybe he wanted to see if I was in so he could burglarise me.
Yeah.
We just don't know. We just don't know. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio 0844 499 1000. I don't know. I asked them to get rid of it. They assured me that that's exactly what they've been doing. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. If you've called in the last 2 weeks, you're welcome to listen. You're welcome to text in 87222. Start your text talk, and they cost 25 pence plus your network rate. But you're not welcome to call in for the first 2 hours of the show. Instead, it's people. If you've not called in the last 2 weeks, you're more than welcome to. 0844 499 1000. John's on the line. Yes, John.
Hi, Ian. Hi, Kath.
Hiya.
Hello. It's the first time. Well, actually, no. It's the second time I've spoken to you, Ian, but not for a long time.
When was the? That came in. When was the first time you called in? First time I spoke to you, John.
It would have been LBC. Oh, yeah. You were doing a thing about local shops that were good to get food.
That is a brilliant. I can't even. I don't remember it, but what a great phone in local shops where it's good to get food.
You like good sandwich shops that are off the beaten track sort of thing, you know, not chains and stuff.
It's a bit enough. And I saw in the papers today there was a thing about the best filling for sandwiches, and you just know, as Martin Kellner pointed out, BBC Local Radio was rubbing its thighs, going, "That's a 2-hour phone-in, guys. That's a 2-hour phone-in."
What's your favourite sandwich? Call me now.
Call me now. Well, welcome to the afternoon show, where today the poll has come out and revealed the nation's favourite sandwich is cheese and pickle on brown bread. Well, I'm not happy with that, and I want to know, what's your favourite sandwich? But before we do that, let's ask son of pop legend Paul McCartney, James McCartney, what's your favourite sandwich?
I don't really want to talk about sandwiches.
Just shaped an interview around your favourite sandwich, and I just wondered what your favourite sandwich was.
I don't want to talk about bread.
We're gonna have to end the interview here, James. We're gonna have to end this interview, I'm afraid. Let's take your calls, but before that, here's Ebony and Ivory. Anyway, John,
the brown sandwich would have caused a lot of arguments on LBC as well. Brown bread, it wouldn't have gone down well.
Yes. Does brown bread go against our Christian morals? Welcome to all of the listeners who've abandoned the sinking ship LBC this evening. It's great to have you on board Talk Radio, as we are about to set sail. We've got plenty of room. Actually, it's cavernous here, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, John, yes, what have you got for us?
Well, a couple of things. I was going to phone up and just say that I've been watching Marcella today. I don't know if anyone else had, but it's very harrowing.
Watching what? Marcella?
Marcella on ITV.
What is that then? Has it got Michelle McManus in it? Oh, Anna Friel.
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to get mistaken for Anna Friel back in the day.
Because she was a lesbian.
I can see that. No, I wasn't going to go there.
Because she murdered her dad and buried him under the patio.
No.
0844 499 1000. Have you murdered your father? Where did you hide the body? Call me now.
They never found me out for that.
No. What I don't, as I say, I don't watch much television these days. I watch quite a bit of Netflix. I've got some good documentaries on there. So, I saw a cracking documentary, John, over the weekend, and it was whoever recommended it to me on Twitter, thank you so much, right? Welcome to Leith. I told my sister, she said, "Oh, is that the Proclaimers film?" I said, no, it's not that. It's brilliant, right? It's about this small town, Leith, in America, right? The US of America. And only 24 people live there. It looks either nightmarish or idyllic, right? It's one of the two. It's interesting we're playing this song. And one day this nice old guy buys a house there, and he's living, and he goes round and he asks all the other residents, have you got some land to sell? You got any land? And go, yeah, no, I haven't got any. Yeah, you can buy this. He buys all this land, right? And by the time he's bought like enough land that he could double the size of the town, the townsfolk realise he is one of America's premier racists.
Right.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. It's like Paul Cobb or James Cogg or something. I've probably libelled two people there. And he's like a really nasty racist, right? And his plan is to build all these houses and get all the racists, all the like white supremacists in America to live there, and then they can take over the town by outvoting the original townsfolk, one of whom's a black man, and take over the town, right? And this guy's nuts. He puts like swastika flags in his garden, and there's nothing the town folks can't do anything about it. And
it's his property.
And he's one of those arrogant arses who knows the law, right? So he's in like all the town meetings, and he's streaming all the town meetings on his laptop, right, on Skype and stuff. And every time they go, and there's one guy who moved to this town. It's the saddest story. He moved to the town with his wife and his daughters, from Washington, right? Because one of his daughters was murdered in Washington.
Oh gosh!
Right? And so this racist,
nice light.
Yeah, this racist is going in the town hall meeting. You should have a word with him. Do you not think that maybe if he'd been a better dad, his daughter wouldn't have been murdered?
Wow!
So whoever recommended that, it's a good film. It kind of all works out, but there's a big question mark over the end as to what is actually going to happen. The story kind of finishes, the film finishes before the story does. But it was half good.
I'll check that out. I'm currently watching Line of Duty on Netflix.
Now, what is like now? We just talk about telly. Well, we just talk about telly. Why not? No one else is calling in. It doesn't matter. 0844 499 1000. That sounds very soldiery.
No, that's police drama.
Police. Okay.
It's the police policing the police. If that makes sense.
Oh gosh, well they're all as bent as 9 bob notes, aren't they?
Well, I was watching, because this has been a few years old now. They're on to the third season, and I've only started the first
series.
But watching it now and what we know about Hillsborough, you start thinking, oh,
hey,
hang on,
hang on a minute. Have you seen that slimy little toe rag, Kelvin Mackenzie in The Sun?
I no longer buy The Sun, I have to say.
Oh, Kelvin's column! You seen this? It's flipping brilliant. Kelvin Mackenzie. Barbecue punch-ups, pedo ring folly, Hillsborough lies, time to end cop cover-up factory. On a balmy summer's day, Northumbria's Chief Constable Mike Crack is having a barbecue in his garden for friends when an uninvited chief superintendent bursts in and punches him for having a lengthy affair with his wife, Carolyn. It again goes on about covering it up. Many serving officers in Northumbria seem to know, including the copper, who put a black eye on the photo of Mr. Crack in one of its police stations. The cover-up was finally revealed last week in an industrial tribunal, but it's taken 9 years to come out. He continues. So we move on to Hillsborough. Yes, please, Kelvin, let's. It has taken 27 years for a much more serious police cover-up to be revealed. Superintendent David Duckenfield lied. Why didn't he say this on the day or after the tragedy? I presume the officers who actually opened the gates knew it was a lie. Why didn't they say something? I fell for the lies, lock, stock and barrel.
Oh.
Where does he get off? He keeps doing this whole thing about he's the victim in this. I can't understand. It's unbelievable.
Isn't it?
He's got no shame, has he?
He's the victim in this. You're right. He doesn't say sorry for what he did. He doesn't say, oh yeah, by the way, my reporter at the time who wrote the story didn't want to put the headline "The Truth." He said this is only what we've heard, and I overruled him and insisted it was the truth. Oh yeah, by the way, when we knew 6 months ago that it was a lie, I was still making jokes about Hillsborough and Anfield.
Yeah, Lord Hillsborough, Lord
Kelvin of Anfield.
Yeah.
Does it say, oh, the police, I fell for the police lies, I'm Kelvin Mackenzie.
They lied to me and I didn't bother checking it. I thought I would go for it. That must be it. Let's just print that down.
What an absolute scumbag of a gentleman he is, isn't he?
Absolute total, I can't even say what he is.
The only line he's got in there, I fell for the lies, lock, stock and barrel.
Boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo-hoo, Kelvin Mackenzie. You printed those lies. You were a flipping journalist. You should have fact-checked them. You should have fact-checked them.
Don't get me started. I'll get angry.
The thing is, right, I'm not even... as I said when the Hillsborough verdict came out, I don't even know that much about it. I'm not a sporting person. I know it transcended sport. I kind of missed it at the time. I had very little awareness of the weight of it until it was the verdict came out. But even I can see that slimy, spineless scumbag has got to go, hasn't he?
The thing is, they were, despite what the police may or may not have told him, there were people there were witnesses at the time who were telling him to the contrary. How come their word wasn't good enough?
Yeah, exactly. And what gets me is they were adding, it wasn't just a lie that he embellished other things as well, like the urinating on bodies and the taking the blood test of 10 and 11-year-old girls saying they were drunk.
Yeah.
It's just shocking. Shocking.
Well, anyway, John, did we get to the point of... We've not got to your point yet, have we? I'm enjoying this tonight. What a nice way to start.
Where do we find a good sandwich off the beaten track?
Do you know what? I can't remember now. It was that long ago. I've got a penny in the machine. Come round mine and I'll whip you up any filling you want.
Sweet.
The other thing, I was just calling about hexes as well.
Yeah.
Now, I had a reverse one. I used to have a lucky pair of socks.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they worked until one of them got a hole in.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm still going to wear them, my lucky socks. I went down to my local pub, was chatting to the barmaid in my single days, and I was going really well, and all of a sudden, I knocked my drink over her and all over myself, and then every time I went out with those socks on, it just got worse. Something got worse and worse, and I had to throw them away.
Okay, unlucky. This is brilliant, John. Thank you. Excellent call. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Well, this takes us on to unlucky clothing, haunted clothing. Those socks are haunted. 0844 499 1000. And where and when have you spilt a drink? I remember a pub in Windsor. I think it's called the Royal Oak. We used to go there when I was 16, 17, guys. I don't mind admitting it. I was drinking underage. I don't condone it. And if my boys do it, I'm going to shatter their kneecaps. But we went out drinking with some older kids, Gino and another Ian, and Gwyneth was probably there. And I had a pint of bitter, not the best. And I was an awkward 16, probably 17. I was an awkward, gangly person. And I sent my pint flying, and it tipped neatly upside down into a biker's motor crash helmet thing. And it was so awkward. And fair play, right, the bloke was really peed off, but he was all right about it.
Good fella.
And I just said, I'm so sorry. You're right. And it was where, dear listener, have you spilt a drink? 0844 499 1000. It's British Sandwich Week. That's why BBC Local Radio is literally creaming itself with...
Salad creaming.
What's your favourite... what's your favourite sandwich?
Unusual combos.
Unusual combos. Oh, we can do unusual combos, but not for sandwiches.
All right.
In relationships.
Okay.
Really, really short woman and a really, really tall man.
The Crankies.
Boom. There we go. We're in with it. This stuff.
And this
literally writes itself.
And this is someone I love.
So
this isn't disrespectful, but I never really got the Victoria Wood Great Soprendo thing.
Well, they didn't. They split up.
Yeah, sad.
I've told you why.
Yeah.
I've told her why. Showbiz gossip. And just in case you're wondering, what the next hour will be in LBC, it's revenge porn. When have you? Here we go. This is here. I think if you allow yourself to have a picture of your private taken, you deserve everything you get. Yes, even if it makes you suicidal. And yes, culture is different. And if you allow someone to take a picture of your Willie or your VJ, then yes, it should be sent to your mother.
What about if you tell the press that you're going to be in a field with with someone else's husband? Is that okay?
We'll have a listen to her after 11. Rats leaving the sinking ship of LBC. Welcome to the good ship of Talk Radio.
We have cheese.
We have cheese, and we've patched up all the holes. You're all welcome. I'm sure we've got room for you. 0844 499 1000. The rules tonight are. If you've called in the last 2 weeks, thank you very much. Appreciate it. You can text in. That's great. But don't call in. So if you've called in the last 2 weeks, don't call in. If you call further away than that, or you've never called in,
then do.
Tonight's show is for you. And Jerry's called in. Good evening, Jerry. Jerry? 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 Jerry?
Jerry?
Okay, Ed, do you want to call Jerry back? Thank you.
I don't think they're there.
I don't think...
he or she.
I don't think they're there. But, I mean, you've got to feel sorry for Kelvin McKenzie, haven't you? Haven't you? He's been carrying... He's not been on Twitter since 2 days before the verdict came out. Imagine that. He's not been on Twitter for 2 days since the verdict came out. I fell for the lies lock, stock and barrel. Well, well, you could apologise. You could not have a picture of you looking like a smug get at the top of your column. And you could not have bullied your reporter who said, we can't put the headline, The Truth, Kelvin, because we don't know it's the truth. This is just the accounts from some people. Put the truth! Put the truth! Let's condemn these. And was it 97 that died? Let's condemn all these people that died and all of their horrible, scummy Scouse families. What a slime bag. Yes, I think we got Jerry back. Yes, Jerry.
Hello, Mr. Lee. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Jerry. What you got for us, boss?
I say Jordan and Gareth Gates. That was an unusual combination.
Say that again.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan and Gareth Gates.
Oh, well, yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, that was, she would have destroyed that poor boy.
Well, apparently not.
Well, but then I met Jordan years ago when she was just dropping the Jordan, becoming the Katie Price, and we didn't know what to call her.
Nice racing car she's named after, aren't she? Eddie Jordan's racing car.
She's named after a racing car?
Is that right? Not the cereal. I'm surprised.
Jordan's racing car. She was a model.
She was a very nice young lady.
My sister's met her when she was doing the planes.
Yeah.
And she said she was lovely.
She was delightful. I mean, filthy.
And tiny.
Tiny, very tiny, very tiny. It's all on optical illusion, those page 3 models. They're normal sized boobs, but tiny bodies.
Oh, right, okay.
And she was filthy. And I remember I was presenting an awards ceremony on ITV. Imagine me and Holly Willoughby presenting an awards show for video games on ITV on a Saturday morning. Imagine that.
Crikey.
Jordan?
Yeah, and Jordan was one of the guest presenters, Simon Pegg.
But he didn't have 3D TV in them days.
Well, as usual, and boy, whatever happened to Holly Willoughby? Her career went nowhere after that. And Jordan came out, and there was a little break between filming, and she was hilarious. She was absolutely hilarious. Very, I mean, filthy. We were out innuendoing each other. Innuendo. Yeah, it was good.
My brother-in-law had an ironing board cover with her on, and when you ironed certain areas, they disappear.
Oh, yes, Jerry.
You know what? Those bits wore off.
Can I ask why your tour's not coming further than Cambridge? Your tour wants to give you a tour, but it's not going up north.
Say that again, Jerry. I can't hear very well.
It's like Parkinson's a bit bad.
Oh, that's okay. No, don't worry. I'll tell you what it is. It's my headphones. They've got two sets of headphones here.
That's a security button, just that's why you couldn't see me.
Okay.
In spasms. But don't worry about it.
Well, are you alright?
Yeah, fine.
Do you want me to come up there and give you a slap or something? Would that help?
Massage would be nice.
Steady on, fella. Are you going to keep your pants on?
The commando.
Well,
Whereabouts are you, did you say?
She's
from Stoke to Crewe.
Oh.
She's thinking about
it.
it.
No, just he was saying that he wants your tour to go further up north.
Well, the tour, yes, the tour is kind of finished. He's referring, of course, to the smash sellout success that was Iain Lee versus Radio. I'm going to do. Here's what I'm thinking, Jerry. I'm thinking I'm doing. We've spoken before, haven't we, Jerry?
Yeah, you sang up absolutely.
Yeah, you did. Station. Yeah, I remember. I knew I remembered you from somewhere. How's things going? You all right?
I'm in a care room now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I'm in a care room. Got an electric wheelchair. Got stuck in bramble bushes the other day.
Flipping heck.
Just got stuck on the Parkinson's. jammed the control and sped off.
I remember you calling me, and it would have been about 5 or 6 years ago. I'm guessing your Parkinson's has got considerably worse since then, has it?
It's still with the sense of humour still there.
Yeah. But your driving's gone, is it, with the old wheelchair? With the wheelchair. My mum's in an electric wheelchair. She's a flipping nightmare.
I can have a race with her.
Yeah, well, you both go in different directions. I guarantee it. And you both. She keeps smashing into the wall. Anyway.
Yeah, I got to go to the A&E.
Well, listen. I might do one more show in London, and then there's going to be a CD coming out, Jerry.
CD.
There's going to be a CD coming out of it.
Okay, I'll buy that.
All right. Well,
You sign it for me.
No, well, I tell you what, Jerry, I will sign it now,
Appreciate it.
and I will sign it. Of course, will be my absolute pleasure.
Take care, Ian.
Cheers, mate. Nice to speak to you. Call again soon, won't you, Jerry?
Bye, gang.
Ta-ta,
Bye.
ta-ta. There we go. He used to.
He's nice.
He's nice, isn't he? I mean, he's nuts,
Well,
but he's nice.
we're not choosy like that.
He used to call me on absolutely about 5 or 6 years ago. I remember Jerry very well. Isn't it? It's interesting, isn't it? Catching up with callers, and you'll know this because you've worked in radio for ages. Catching up with callers that you've not spoken to for years, and I mean, a lot of the people I've spoken to be dead now because a lot of them are old people when I was at LBC. And when there are significant markers in their life, and for Jerry, it's the fact that his Parkinson's has got so bad. He's I think he said he was in a care home, and he's in an electric wheelchair. And I remember he used to phone up, and sometimes he was all right, and sometimes he wasn't all right. It's just what am I trying to say? Time, man. Time. It's like the Guy Goma thing 10 years ago. Nobody believed it was 10 years that Guy Goma. No. And time just flipping flies by.
When I left the other place, a few callers rang up on the last day that I hadn't heard from for ages. And, you kind of wonder now and again how they are and what happened to them and stuff. And one of them phoned up, Adelaide, Jamaican woman. And she had such a distinctive voice, and as soon as I heard her voice, I thought, oh, it's Adelaide. I haven't heard from her for ages. And I must admit, I welled up a bit.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect to ever hear from her again. And she remembered. And she'd been listening all that time. Amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it? And a name that, two names that come up a lot, right? Indulge me for a second. 0844 499 1000, by the way, if you want to give us a call. And boy, we've not had many calls tonight, but what excellent calls they've all been. So this is well worth pursuing for another hour. Two names that come up with people asking me for call about whatever happened to callers. One of them is Verinda, who was a young girl who used to phone up, and I used to tease mercilessly. And we had a little Twitter exchange last week, and she's all right. She's okay. She's alive, and she might call in at some point. I don't think she fancies it. The other one is Andre. And Andy was his real name, and he used to phone up about 5-6 years ago, and was always drunk. And at the time, it was kind of a joke, right? We thought he was playing a character. Then he came in, and I thought, actually, he's probably not playing a character. He's probably I make up. He's either an excellent actor or he's got quite a serious issue with alcohol. And I would every now and then he came in a couple of times, 3 or 4 times actually. We did a football match and he came and played in it. And every now and then I'd take him to one side and I'd say, look, Andre, I've got mates that have been through what you're through, and there is an alternative, And I kind of just said, look, this is a number for AA. If you want to give it a call, it's entirely up to you, man. I'm not making any judgments on your lifestyle at all. And loads of people ask what happened to him, and I haven't got a clue.
Would you love to know?
I would love to know. I would love to know. Now, there were rumours, like the spotting of the Yeti or something. There were rumours that people had heard him calling 5 Live like a year after I'd left.
Yeah.
And he was sober. But I never kind of read too much into that. Could be dead. I literally not got a clue what happened to that man. And there's a part of me that feels a little bit bad for... I didn't take the mickey out of him. Maybe I could have handled him as a phone-in host, slightly as a phone-in.
Yeah, but that's you. That's you growing up, and that's time.
We did have another guy. We had another guy called Rob from Ponders End, who was like a massive stoner, and again we indulged him and we laughed at some of his stories, about how he was in a police station and he levitated and all this stuff.
Blimey.
And towards the end of my time there, I said, Rob, do you know what, mate? I'm going to ask you not to call the show anymore because I'm really worried about your health and your mental state. And I'm worried that maybe you're doing too much drugs, and maybe you're not well.
Mm.
And do you know what he said? Oh, F off, you W!
Wow.
Slammed the phone down. I thought, well, I'll never hear from him again. So, there you go, you know. Right, listen, that's an hour down. That's not bad, is it? We're easing ourselves into the week. If you want to give us a call, now is an excellent time to do it while Kath goes and makes a cup of tea.
Oh, nice hint.
0844 499 1000. This is Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We're the best thing on the radio at this time of night, I guarantee it.
Talk Radio.
Okay, so it's a nice gentle start. What are we talking about? Hexes, jinxed clothing. If you've ever had a jinx or a voodoo spell put on you, it's 10 years since Guy Goma. Have you ever been on television talking about Apple? It's quite a niche one, actually. I'll think on that and I'll expand on it. Oh, and anything you want to call in about, you're just kind of sitting here, kind of chatting. Now is an excellent time to call. It's a bit quiet on the phone, so do give us a call. 0844 499 1000. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hang on, I'm playing the wrong... Hang on a minute. I'm playing the wrong thing. Hang on a second.
I thought you were going to sing along to that one.
No. Hang on a second. Let's do... yes. Click. Play. There we go. Computer. In your own time. Put you there. Oh, no, don't worry. Don't worry, guys. Oh, I know why. Hang on a minute, guys. Hang on a minute. So it's one. Here comes the tea.
Bang.
Bang. So it's one of those shows tonight where it's kind of in an attempt. Listen, I know it's a new radio station, and we have been really spoilt on this show. By the way, if you're watching on Periscope, you can't see Kath. I'll move the cameras in a bit. Yeah, do you want to go and sit on that one over there? There we go. That'll do it. And there. So it's a new. We've been kind of spoilt on this show by we have brought a pre-packaged show with us already, and that Kath and I had worked together before, and there was a bit of a foolery when we left the last place because we were stitched up. And so we've had a bit of attention. So kind of we've brought a show along with us, and we're getting lots of new people, and that's wonderful. But I'm also aware that to the casual listener, and we've got new listeners tonight because that awful woman Katie Hopkins is on LBC at the moment. We'll have a little listen to that in a second. And they'll be switching off in their absolute droves, because I like listening to people that I disagree with on the radio. I love it because it kind of makes me think. It makes me challenge why I think something. It makes me angry, and I like feeling angry sometimes, and it makes me feel self-righteous. But I only like listening to those people when they're good presenters. And the thing is, right, she can have her obnoxious, dangerous, incredibly offensive, some might say dangerous views, but she's not a very good presenter, and that's the thing that does it. Let's be fair. Let's have a little listen.
I think she's got better.
Well,
for something like that. If, as a mother, and I've got two daughters, they're 11 and 10, so clearly I like to think this is before my time at the moment, that this is all to come.
Revenge
but
porn.
It really concerns me if that's what police are saying in response to this kind of what I would call crime. A 15-year-old girl, and the message she's received is, something like this happens to you, your image is taken from...
Actually, she makes quite a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tonight I'm kind of getting all tangled up in here. I'm getting messed up in blue, to quote a Dylan song title, I think. Tangled in blue. Tangled up in blue? Tangled in blue. One of the two. I don't like Dylan anyway. I think he's incredibly overrated.
What are you talking about him for then?
And it's to my great detriment, because I would imagine that rich body of work that you could just dive into if one liked Dylan. I like the album with Hurricane on. Here comes the story of a hurricane. It's about a boxer who went to prison for... I don't.
I bought a Dylan album last year.
Yeah?
I might have another try.
Which one?
Can't remember.
Maybe put the microphone near your mouth?
Can't remember.
and he did a good song about a sign on a chemist's window. But the rest, but it would be great just to have. I mean, he's got so many albums, and then they re-released like Blonde on Blonde, I think it was, but like a 20-disc version of it. Flipping heck! If that were the Beach Boys or the Monkees, I mean, the Monkees gets exhaustively re-released. I would dive in, but I don't like Dylan. I like the idea of Dylan. I love and Lennon. I love the film, which I'm going to get you to watch, Don't Look Back. His 1964 tour of the UK. It's a brilliant film.
Is that the one where Donovan tries to be his friend?
Yeah. It's so funny. And there's a weird bit, right, where he's done. So Dylan's doing this. 0844 499 1000. Mike, stay there. I'll be with you in a second. And he's doing this tour of the UK. He's like playing these town halls and stuff like this. And he gets to meet the mayoress, the lady mayor of this town, and she said, and there's a bit, and I've watched it so many times in various states of consciousness, and all of my friends, I remember it was a big thing at college. She goes, "These are my three sons. This is Stephen, Stephen, and Stephen."
No.
Now I'm sure, and I've watched that 100 times. These are my three sons. This is Stephen, Stephen, and Stephen. And there's a bit where him and Alan Price are being just such a-holes to this journalist, this young journalist. Just want to interview you, Bob. I don't know why. Don't know why you need to be so mean. And imagine this journalist. He's writing for a student rag, right? And he's gone backstage at one of the things. So it's Dylan, Alan Price, and all of Dylan's mates, right? And Dylan's at his cockiest, speeded, just real. Well, man, I don't want to answer your questions. Well, Bob, I just want to ask you a few questions, Bob. There's no need to be so mean about it. Oh, it's horrible, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant to watch, guys. It's brilliant. 0844 499 1000. The point that I was making to before Dylan sidetracked me is, if you've called in the last 2 weeks, not tonight, thank you. We'll speak later on.
You're that journalist and we're Bob Dylan.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, Mike.
Oh, yeah. You all right?
I'm good. I've got a cup of rooibos tea, and I'm going to be slurping it.
I'm getting used to this. It smells like dishwater, but it's actually not bad, is it?
It's good. We're off the caffeine here, Mike. We're off the caffeine.
I've been off it for about a year.
Why would you do that?
Because
How can you do that when you're staying up so late?
It was driving me nuts. It was.
Isn't rooibos a bit licorice? Does it taste of licorice?
No, it tastes a bit like washing up water.
Why don't you just drink washing up water then?
True, I could save myself some money.
No, it's not. Yeah. I'm off the caffeine because it's like it's like drugs, man. It's just every time I've come off caffeine in the past, I've had a terrible headache and terrible mood swings, and I just kind of thought, I don't want that in my body.
Do you know what the decider was for me? Do you remember? I bought this super strong stuff because we were necking coffee like no tomorrow. Doing breakfast because it's just whatever keeps you going. And I ended up going stronger and stronger coffee, and I bought this one, and it was in like a little metal canister, like it was nuclear reactive or something. And I was drinking that like normal coffee, and then going home on a weekend, and because I've got little kids, I don't really get hot cups of anything,
Hot cups of sick.
I might get half of it before I get, drafted off to do something else. So I wasn't drinking as much coffee, and I ended up, this is going to sound ridiculous, but this is what happened. I ended up Googling low mood. I thought I might be slipping into a depression. And do you know what it was? Withdrawal. It was caffeine withdrawal.
Coffee.
Well, I've given up the sugar.
Oh, and how's that feel?
Fine. I don't really notice a difference.
How does your sphincter feel?
It's funny you should say that tonight, 'cause I had some chili earlier.
Oh, dear.
So...
Can I tell you my bum? Can I tell you my bum worries?
Well, I think you're going to anyway.
I'm going to, because I don't think this gets said enough, right? I'm going to say...
said plenty by you.
I'm going to say something that's gross, and it is disgusting, right? You think you've heard everything. You've not heard anything yet.
I've heard
this,
quite
Mike.
a lot.
Last night, Mike.
Oh, no.
I went to bed quite early, right?
Yeah.
And I really needed to go for a number 2, right? And I thought, do you know what? I'm too tired. I'll wait till morning. This is from like
you can't nurse that.
This is from like late afternoon, right? Until
I'm nursing a bit.
I thought I can wait until morning, and I'll enjoy this in the morning, all the more. What's the phrase? A pleasure denied is a pleasure doubled, or something. And so they come morning time, and I woke up in the night. I thought, I'm not going to get up in the night and do one. That's outrageous. So so the morning came, and I thought, right,
now's the time.
I'm going to enjoy this. And I sat on the toilet, Michael. Nothing happened.
It's crawled back up.
Nothing. No, it hadn't crawled back up. It was there.
Oh, I thought you'd reabsorbed it.
No.
Yeah, that's what happens.
No. It had solidified right by the exit portal.
Oh, no.
It hadn't crystallised, had it? Can that happen?
No.
Mummified by the sounds of it.
Well, you know what I had to do to get it out?
Oh, no! The mathematician's way.
Yeah, I had
to work it out with a pencil.
I had to have a route around. Isn't that outrageous, Mike?
Really?
Did you not just coax it with a bit of toilet paper? Was it right up there?
We've probably reached the zenith of this conversation.
I bet Katie Hopkins isn't talking like this.
To talk about, was it vexes, curses, and apparently to get rid of them you use salt. That's as far as my knowledge goes.
Oh God! So hang on. So how would a curse be gotten rid of by salt?
Well, I was hoping you could fill in the blanks, or people.
I had to fill in a blank this morning.
How to get rid of a curse? It said salt.
I imagine some sort of circle.
Well, you would draw if you wanted to keep a demon in. You draw a salt circle. That's a fact.
Or out.
Well, you're out, yes. So you stand within the salt circle and they carry on their demonic. And what they'll try and do, Mike, is they will say, they will transform themselves into, if you're like a heterosexual man.
Sexy woman.
What turns you on, Mike?
That conversation about the poo, to be honest.
Okay, well, in that case, if you're a coprophile, they will turn themselves into feces. Or if you were a heterosexual gentleman who likes, say, beautiful ladies, they would the demons would turn themselves into Jordan. And they'd be beckoning you, Mike, come out of the salt circle. Oh, I'm going to kiss you all over. It's going to be real sexy time. And then the second you stepped out of the salt circle, they'd grab your hand, and then they would turn into the demonic figure that they are, and your soul would be theirs.
I wish someone had written that to the people in Paranormal Activity movies. It could have saved a lot of bother.
I went to see the first Paranormal Activity, right?
That was terrifying.
No, only if you're scared of doors moving an inch.
Have you not heard the story about Steven Spielberg?
Who?
Spielberg and that.
Tell me the story about Steven Spielberg and that.
So, he took a copy of the movie back to his house.
Yeah, of course he did.
Oh, here we go.
Watched it. And then that door locked itself. And that door didn't even have a lock on it.
Oh, my chin. It's really itchy.
Oh, Michael, what? Come on now.
You don't believe that?
Honestly, use the internet. I don't know if you can say Google or you have to say search providers.
You have to say Bing. You have to Bing it.
You have to ask Jeeves.
Do you know what? I use Bing on my laptop, so I can't be bothered to change it to Google.
Oh, for crying out loud.
But Google it. I don't know if it's a true story, but it's certainly in the realms of...
Google
knowledge.
Steven Spielberg and that.
Steven Spielberg.
And that.
What do you want me to type in? And paranormal...
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity.
Right.
Locked door.
Okay,
locked door.
No lock.
The Haunted History of Paranormal Activity. Hang on a second. Hang on.
Is there a documentary on YouTube about it?
Hang on a second.
It could be tomorrow.
Hang on a second. Hang on, here we go. Steven Spielberg was certain his copy of Paranormal Activity was haunted. It was early 2008. And the director's DreamWorks studio was trying to decide whether it wanted to be a part of the micro-budgeted supernatural thriller. As the story goes, Spielberg had taken the Paranormal Activity DVD to his Pacific Palisades estate, and not long after he watched it, the door to his empty bedroom inexplicably locked from the inside, forcing him to summon a locksmith. While Spielberg didn't want the Paranormal Activity disc anywhere near his home, he brought the movie back to DreamWorks in a garbage bag. And then it goes on to...
It doesn't say that there wasn't a lock, because if he'd called the locksmith and say, there's nothing I can do here, there is no lock.
There is no lock. This
to Smith.
Door. You've not been watching scary movies, have you, Stephen? Yeah, I've been watching Paranormal... Oh, that'll be it. We've had a load of them happening. Mike, thank you for that.
No worries.
Ta-ta, ta-ta. 0844 499 1000. You know who this is?
Dylan.
Yep. Dylan's Christmas song.
Must be Santa. That one.
Who's got a beard that's long and white? Santa's got a beard that's long and white. Who comes round around on a special night. Santa comes around on a special night. Special night, yeah, that's right. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Who wears boots and suit of red? Santa wears boots and suit of red. Who wears a long cap on his head? Santa wears a long cap on his head. Cap on head, suit of red. Special night, yeah, that's right. Must be Santa.
Thank you, Jim, who's reminded me of that. Who's reminded me of that. And I wish, because that's obviously funny. That's him having a sense of humour. But well, I don't know. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. It's slow on the calls tonight, but that's I'm fine with that. Do we know when Danny Baker's coming on yet?
No, but he will, I'm sure.
Charlie Brooker?
No, but he will, I'm sure.
Slackers.
Both of them are. They'll send an email now and again, and then I'll send it back straight away, and then it'll be a long pause.
I get the impression that those men are living a charmed life.
Oh, yeah.
Where emails aren't as pressing to them as they are to us.
And if you follow Danny, you'll know that from about 6:30, the fez is on.
Yeah.
And the wine is a-flowing.
Yeah.
And I don't hate him for it.
I do. It would be nice, wouldn't it, to be able to get drunk every night? No, hang on. No. It would be a terrible thing.
I'll get you a fez if you want.
I've got one. 0844 499 1000 is the phone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. A lot of new listeners tonight. Welcome. You're wondering what is this rambling mess? So it's me, Iain Lee. Catherine is there. It is through there. And we're just kind of, chatting and seeing. The most. I want to talk about this, but I don't really know how to talk about it. I'm just going to talk about it.
Go on.
The most amazing story in the news today, right? And this is a horrible story. I mean, this is actually a proper horrible story. No jokes or anything like that. In fact, me playing the Fall Guy music is probably
inappropriate.
Probably a little bit inappropriate. The story about that murder, where the young lady was murdered in 1984.
Oh gosh.
And they only arrested the fella last year. And do you know how they did it? They DNA'd his daughter for something completely not connected. And they went, oh, this is really, really close to the DNA from that murder case from 1984 of that young teenage girl in Bath. Like, horrible murder and rape, horrible thing. So they went and DNA'd the rest of this woman's family, and it was it was the dad, right? And just the saddest story. But do you know what really got me thinking? He's had 32. Those 32 years, I'm trying to phrase this that doesn't sound insensitive, but I don't think I can, so I'm just going to go straight in there. Those 32 years must have been bloody hard work for him, mustn't they?
Carrying that around.
Unless
he's a psychopath and doesn't care.
Yeah, but okay, and unless he doesn't care. But you just think in that 32 years, he moved from Bath to Bristol, met his wife, got married, and I just kept picturing him.
Had daughters.
I kept picturing him, and his wedding day, having the wedding pictures taken, did it pop up in his mind at any point during the wedding? Oh, I wish I'd done that.
The thing that, I just mentioned it then, the thing that surely must have got to him is when he became a father of a daughter.
And what has he done? Maybe he's done stuff in those 32 years to try and, appease the sin that he's committed. Maybe he went to confession. Maybe he donated money to, victims of rape. I mean, do you know what I mean? Maybe, this guy fascinates me, is what I'm trying to say. I would love to know what the hell he's been up to for the last 32 years, how he justified it, and did he wake up in the night sweating, with his girl sleeping in the bed next door, and he's sleeping next to his wife thinking, oh, bloody hell. Oh, because we've all done stuff in the past that we're not proud of, of varying degrees, one degree or another. There's a brilliant Woody Allen film when he could still make films, and it's got Martin Landau in it from Space 1999, and I can't remember what the film is. Someone will tell me on Twitter, because they're good like that. And I think if I remember it correctly, I've not seen it for years, he's married and he has an affair with a lap dancer or something. and he's like a politician, and she's going to expose him. So he either murders her or he pays for someone to murder her. He might get Alan Alda to kill her. I don't know. And as the murder's taking place, he's trying to phone up the killer, going, "You've got to stop it. I can't do it." And then, like, the days after the murder, he's like, "Oh my God, I can't carry this guilt. I've got to confess. Mm-hmm. And the murderer's going, "You confess, I get in trouble. Suck it down and deal with it," right? And then it cuts to him like 2 years later, and he's talking to the camera, and he says, "You know, after the murder, I was in a terrible state, but it's really funny what time can allow you to get over, and I think I did the right thing."
Wow.
And what film is that, Twitter? Someone on Twitter, at Iain Lee, tell me what that film is, because enough Crimes and Misdemeanors. Thank you very much indeed. And I think I've not seen that film for about 20 years. I think I've kind of got the plot kind of loosely right. 0844 499 1000. And I remember seeing that, I guess, well, maybe I was like 15, 20, I don't know how old I was. And that scene really stuck with me as just being so cold. And it's reminded me of this guy, this guy. I don't know anything about him. I don't know very little about the story because I was driving every time I heard it. I've not had time to kind of look into it. And I might do tomorrow. It's a bit macabre, but I might do tomorrow. I just want to know.
How you carry on?
How did he carry on for 32 years? What must his daughter think? What must his wife think? When
that's not the man they know, is it?
Well, when the police came and arrested him, did they go, no, it's my dad, you've got the wrong... Don't worry, Dad, go and they'll sort this all out. And he must have been in the back of the police car, terrified, because he's thinking, this is it, the world I have created has come collapsing around my ears.
Either that or you live every day waiting for the knock to come.
But you couldn't live like that. I don't think you could live like that. The stress would kill you. Again, unless you say you're completely detached from the incident. 0844 499 1000. If you want to give us a call. It just, and the mum of the girl that got murdered was saying about when she went to the first court hearing and she realised that this guy's wife and daughter were sat right behind her. And, there's just so many different... I don't know what I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just trying to thrash it. There are so many different emotions all involved in that whole thing, and so many different parts. But the one that really fascinates me is the guy that did it, and how, how quickly did he stop panicking and stop checking over his shoulder and stop thinking, "Oh, the police are going to get me any time now," and got on with his life. I don't know. It's a nut story. It's an incredible story. And, a triumph of technology over, dodgepots and nutters, really.
I didn't think the DNA technology was that good in the 80s.
I think, I think it was not as sophisticated now, but they had it, and they did a really thorough search. It was an incredible story. I was listening to it on Radio 4, actually. 0844 499 1000, by the way, if you want to call in. And at the time, because it was in Bath, I think, and Bath's not massive, so they were able to check. They checked all of the hotels. They DNA'd everybody that lived in Bath. I don't know if that's possible to all that. Someone's just periscoped. Their dad was arrested for being the Yorkshire Ripper and spent the night in a cell. There were quite a few blokes that were arrested.
Yeah. And the Yorkshire Ripper was questioned, wasn't he, more than once? They didn't have a way of cross-referencing the interviews, though. That's one of the cases that brought the whole, not computering, but they used to use cards.
Yeah.
But they didn't mark on them when they'd been seen.
I told you who made a cup of tea for the Yorkshire Ripper once, didn't I?
Savile.
No, Vic Reeves.
Oh, yes.
Vic Reeves. I was reading the book about the Yorkshire Ripper, and I was doing something with Vic Reeves, and Vic went, "Oh, Yorkshire Ripper." I went, "Yeah, see, I made him a cup of tea once." And I thought he was doing a little riff, a weird riff. I said, "Really?" He said, yeah. I was a tea boy. He was a delivery driver, I think, the Yorkshire Ripper, and he was a tea boy at one of those places, and he made him a cup of tea. And then he told me that he'd, is it Dennis Nilsson was in Muswell Hill? Who was the guy that used to murder young gay men in his flat in Muswell Hill? I think it was Dennis Nilsson. And he said, and Vic Reeves said, "Oh yeah, and I got chatted up by Dennis Nilsson once."
Blimey.
Isn't it weird? And you know who found one of the murder victims of the Yorkshire Ripper and was questioned.
That was Savile.
No! It was...
But he was questioned, wasn't he, at one point?
I think he was.
Yeah.
It was, I can't remember the character he played, Bruce Jones.
Les Battersby.
Les Battersby, and he often says, I don't know if he said, I think he said this once, often, that's, because he's had a problem with booze, that was just such a traumatic thing, finding one of the victims, 100 yards from his house or something. Doesn't bear thinking about, does it? 0844 499 1000. Ollie, stay there. We'll come to you after this. What happened to Ollie?
He's disappeared. He tried calling him back and scared off.
Keep calling him. Keep calling him. Let's get that.
We haven't had an Ollie, have we?
We haven't had an Ollie. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. Catherine here is here as well, and it's Monday, and we're just kind of just sitting here and talking, and there's not many calls tonight, and that's fine. I can do that. We've made it slightly difficult for ourselves by saying if you've called in the last 2 weeks, don't call tonight. That's fine. After midnight, that changes, and we do the calls straight to air. So, Ollie, what's your beef, Ollie? Why have you put the phone down? Yeah, he's bottled it. Well, but let's have a little recap of where we've been so far. We've talked about murderers.
Mm-hmm.
Guy
Goma.
Guy
It's the
Goma.
10th anniversary.
Happy 10th anniversary, Guy Goma. We're also, and I can't remember why, but it doesn't matter, hexes, curses and voodoo, if they've ever been put on you. If you've ever cast a black magic... You've worked out what this is, isn't you? If you've ever cast a black magic spell... We used to do it all the time at school. I remember once, we had this deputy head teacher, Mr. Dunn, very devout Christian, very devout. And he once spotted a group of us outside, and he came over and questioned us as to what we were doing, right? And then he did an assembly about it, right? About black magic and stuff and how it was bad. Do you know what we were doing?
Were you levitating each other?
Hacky sack.
What?
We were doing hacky sack. Do you remember hacky sack?
Like a beanbag?
Like a little beanbag. We were playing hacky sack, yeah.
What was black magic about that?
I don't know. I remember once I got called in to see him because we had to, for these stupid things you have to write things at school, right, about what you like doing and stuff. I don't flip it, no. Jog on, none of your business. I remember in the 4th year, we were going through our Alistair Crowley, Dennis Wheatley period. And
you say that like everyone has that. I don't think.
I think boys do. I think boys. So we were about like 14. Yeah, all boys are into black magic and stuff like that. Mate, it's all in video games now. And like hobbies, computer games, reading, and black magic. And we put that down. I remember me and Malcolm Richmond got called into his office separately
because he was worried about the video games.
He was not happy.
Gosh.
And he said, "What do you mean black magic?" I said, "Well, we got a Ouija board." He was furious.
Blimey.
It was that you mustn't mess with all this stuff, and it don't work, guys. Here's the thing, right? Black magic, it don't work. It don't work because if it worked, right, we'd all have hot girlfriend. We'd all be going out with Pixie Lot, and we'd all be millionaires, and we'd never grow old. That's what black magic is for,
right?
And it don't work. It doesn't work.
We used to do that thing where you can levitate another girl by putting just one finger
where
each.
That's what I was doing this morning again.
Above the.
Oh yeah. Does that actually work?
Yeah, because you do it right before you do the incantation, which was ridiculous, and you try and just lift them up, and it's hard. And then you do this thing where everyone sort of sits in a circle and does this kind of funny rhyme. And then, with one finger each, and each sort of caught under her shoulders and under her ribs and stuff, lifted up.
Wow.
Magical. It was like The Craft.
I don't know what that... I don't get the reference.
Well, because you're not a girl.
Keith says, yes, Dennis Nilsson was in Cranley Gardens. That's not Muswell Hill, of course. That's Arnos Grove. Or maybe it was... No, Cranley Gardens is Muswell Hill. I'm getting confused with my North and North West London murderers. Also, me and my dad caught the Camden Bimbag murderer. I remember that guy. Now someone's telling me Alistair Crowley was George W. Bush's granddad. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on with this world? Oh, I'm starting to buy into these conspiracy theories. Speaking of which, when is Ike coming on?
Well, I sent him a message back and said, it's a shame he couldn't come on those 2 times when we'd arranged, and he said he would. But maybe we can do it again in the future, and when's good for you? Silence.
Well, send it again.
Silence.
Send it again.
Okay.
I'll send him a message.
Okay.
The thing is, he thinks we're going to tear him apart, but, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he didn't like the 11 o'clock show or Rise. It's distinctly possible.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he's got something going on.
I just want to have a chat with him, innit?
Yeah.
Really? 0844 499 1000. I think it's probably all the phone calls we're going to get tonight, which is fine. I can work around that. That's what I get paid for, basically. I'm watching another documentary at the moment. I'm into my documentary. So we've had We Are Twisted Flipping Sister. I enjoyed that. I don't like Twisted Sister's music, but I enjoyed it. Do you know who discovered Twisted Sister in this country, made them big in this country? And when he popped in the documentary, it was like, oh, blimey. He wears long sleeves, I think for a similar reason Dolly Parton does.
Oh, right. Hang on, let me have a think then.
Gary Bushell. You know who Gary Bushell is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he discovered Twisted Sister.
But the long sleeve thing, is that true?
I believe so. Yeah,
They'll be like proper sailor ones, though, won't they?
No, they were.
Really?
I believe so. Yes. So I watched that, and I watched. What was the one I said I watched the other week that was good? My memory's just. I can't remember what I was doing Saturday. What was the one I said I watched the other week?
Oh, flipping heck.
We started the whole show with it on Friday. Oh, Jesus. What film did I watch? Well, so Welcome to Lethal's the one I watched this weekend.
Yeah, that's down, we know that.
What was the one that I watched? God, I can't even think. My brain is literally...
Oh,
Team
I know.
Thank you.
Yes.
Team Foxcatcher. Thank you very much.
Wrestling.
And now, I'm watching a documentary about a kid, he's in his 20s, who is being hounded by the FBI for he's a computer hacker.
Right.
And it's a little bit dry, this one, but Ash, who's on before, Johnny and Ash before, said, you stick with it, because it gets... Well, stick with it? Oh, kid, it gets good. It's like, yeah, right, wicked, I'll have some of that.
Oh.
But I think I have soaked up all of the Netflix documentaries that are there.
Maybe you should have a break and watch something else. Why don't you watch some...
I don't like the films and the programmes on there. They're rubbish. I'm going to it's May. I get to cancel Amazon Prime this month. Beautiful. That'll learn them. That'll teach them.
I need to do that.
Cancel it, man. Well, the thing is, you can't cancel it until the end of the year is up, and you've got to do it because they do a sneaky renewal. So you just got to get in there and cancel it on the day of Renewingtons. Oh, here comes Ollie. Look at this.
Where's he been?
Put him through, Ed. Don't talk to him, mate. I'm the one who's struggling here. Flipping heck. Yes, Ollie.
How you doing?
Where the hell have you been?
How you doing, me old mucker?
I'm good. Where have you been?
I've been trying. You've not been phoning me back.
Yes,
I tried to answer it, okay?
We've been phoning you back.
How's things?
It could be better. How's things with you?
Good. I've just been having a long, lengthy discussion with my brother and a friend of mine in regards to a mountain on Mars.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't believe in it, you know? I don't believe they tell me how high it is. How can you work it out when it's in space? We watched a film last night called The Martian.
Yes.
And it takes 4 years to get to Mars.
Yes.
And they're telling me it was all in... So I've joined the gym recently.
What?
And I've been watching my steps on my iPhone. And I said last night that I've nearly climbed as high as Mount Everest walking yesterday. And they started bringing up in conversation that there's a mountain on Mars that's 3 times the height of Everest.
Yes.
You know, and could I walk that? But I don't... How does anybody know that there's a mountain that high on Mars?
First of all, you've not walked the height of... Well, you might have walked if you were to lie Everest down on its side, but obviously it'll be harder because you're going up a mountain.
Mm-hmm. I agree, I agree.
You appreciate that?
I do, totally. We started Googling the feet of different things, you know.
The feet?
And, yeah, how high things are, or
right,
how deep
the height.
things are.
Yeah.
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 And it's a load of, you know, no one knows the height, do they?
But you know there is a vehicle on Mars at the moment.
Well, they say there's a vehicle on Mars.
Hang on a second.
Someone went to the moon.
Yes, well, someone did.
I don't believe them.
Right. Well, now you're entering the realms of the conspiracy theorist.
Sort of.
Well, no,
I just don't believe in what I like fact.
Well, the fact is, we went to the moon.
Well, you think the fact she went to the moon.
See, we're entering the realm of conspiracy theory.
Sort of.
Well, no, there's no sort of about it. We are.
Well, I don't know. You know what I mean? This film, The Martian, they told me it was a documentary about Mars.
That's not a documentary.
They told me it was.
It's got Matt Damon in it.
Yeah.
Well,
he's got a lot of money.
He's not an astrophysicist, is he?
Doesn't he grow?
No,
this is it all.
It
all links up. Doesn't he grow potatoes out of his own poo?
Who?
Of course he does.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
Have you not done that?
I've.
He has trouble getting it out.
I had to work it out with a
putting
pencil.
potatoes in it.
I don't know about the mountain on Mars, but you know there's a face on Mars.
Whose face?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? But there is a human face. It
could be Matt Damon, couldn't it?
Could be. Some say it'd be a sphinx, Ollie.
Well, I'm one of these people.
Yes.
I if I know it's fact, it's fact.
What do you give me a fact that you know?
Give me a fact that I know.
No, you give me one that
fact. I know that Mount Everest is 29,026 feet.
How have you measured it?
I personally use an 8-metre Stanley.
Right, okay. Thank you for calling, Ollie.
Cheers.
Ta-ta. I mean, wow. 0844 499 1000.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Because of the story today, we're talking about murderers and things like that. All that music would have been playing all the way through the ads. Good. I've had an email. I'm going to keep the email anonymous, okay?
Go on.
Right, I'm assuming I can read this out, anonymous emailer, who's with the subject heading serial killers. I'm assuming I can read this out without mentioning your name. I'm going to read it out without mentioning your name, okay? And I'd love to know so much more about this person. Hi, Ian. I met Peter Sutcliffe and the Camden Ripper last year. Sutcliffe was quiet and polite, and Anthony Hardy, the Camden Ripper, tried to stare me down. He was a knob. And then they go into a little bit more detail, which makes me think that is quite probably a genuine email. What a strange. You know, I was doing this kind of when I had some time on my hand over Christmas or after Christmas. I was doing this documentary about 0844 499 1000. By the way, if you want to give us a call, was kind of doing this radio documentary that would never have got played anywhere. Although I think if Radio 4 had some balls, it might do. About Gary Glitter fans, right? And I won't go into. I will do it one day. I just.
Are you going to say what the premise was or not? If someone nicks it.
No, I'm not going to say.
Good.
But and I will do it. I've recorded some really good stuff, and it's just an editing nightmare. I'm not very good at structuring a story. Anyway, I wrote to Glitter, to Gad, in court, in prison. Someone gave me the prison he was in and his prisoner number, and I wrote. Here we go. Is this just fantasy? I wrote to him, and it took me about 3 or 4 drafts of the letter, and I sent it to my mate Scott to check it out to make sure that it wasn't forgiving. You know, I wanted him to reply.
So you got Scott to check that?
Yeah, no, he told me to tone it down a little bit because it was a little bit. He said, "There's no way he's going to reply to that," so I toned it down a bit. And I posted a letter to Gad, and I have never wanted someone to not reply to a letter more than when I post. And I posted. I thought, he's got my address now. And I mean, you know, great scheme of things, I'm sure it's absolutely fine. But he's still, you know, he writes to his fans and stuff. He contacts his fans, and I
wonder whether I might have had better luck.
Well, yes, possibly. And for researching this documentary, my Facebook feed now, I joined a load of Gary Glitter pages and stuff and got talking to some of the people on there. And the people that are on there generally, apart from one guy who was a utter, to quote the person who sent this email, knob, sent me the most horrendous picture I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even going to describe it. It was so horrendous. He sent me one picture. Oh, it was so upsetting, Kath. It was horrible. He sent me this one picture of this album cover a band had done. And the album was called Gary Glitter's Corpse.
Oh, God.
So you can imagine what the picture was. Right, it was horrible. And I thought, let me look into this.
What did he send you that for? A bit of fun?
He thought I was going to stitch up Gary Glitter fans and make them all out to be nonces, and that wasn't the intention at all. And so he said, well, you should, instead of having a go at Gary Glitter, you should check this band out. You have a go at them. I said, well, that's not really what I'm doing. But then I went and looked at this band's Facebook page. I'm not going to describe the image I saw, because even now, thinking about it is actually making me nauseous and upset, right? On Facebook, they do this thing, and I've never seen it before, where if the picture... I thought this wouldn't have been allowed on there, but there were some pictures that said, this picture is like adult content or upsetting content or something. Only click on it if you want to see it. And I clicked on it. Honestly, I've never seen such an upsetting image in my life. It was but everyone's going, oh, what was it? What was it? Was it? I'm not going to describe it because it's one of those things. I saw it, I stared at it for 2 seconds, and then I went off the page thinking that would erase it from my memory. Of course, it didn't. It only ingrained in my memory even more. And I'm not going to describe what the image was because there will be people listening who will find it upsetting. Or maybe no, they were. Oh, God.
Anyway, it was horrible. Leave it at that.
It was. Oh, flipping heck. And I didn't think you could put that stuff on Facebook.
Do you not report it?
Well, it involved going back and looking at it. I didn't want to do that. 0844 499 1000. Iona.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. It's quiet on the phone today, but I don't mind because it means me and Kath get to have a chat.
It's very nice. It's very nice listening to you chatting.
Thank you very much, Iona. What you got for us?
Well, you were talking about being cursed.
Yes.
And I had a weird experience where I was cursed when I was working in a pub.
Oh,
so I thought I'd kind of call you up.
Yeah, go on. What hang on a minute.
What did you do to deserve this hexage?
Hang on a minute. This is
well, it wasn't specifically me. It was kind of the building generally, but it was me a bit.
Oh, hang on.
What happened, Iona? Tell us the story.
So it was just a normal day.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that the spooky music's on.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That's made my day. So these two guys came into the pub and they had, in my opinion, been probably smoking something a little unusual.
Yeah.
Jazz fags.
But that was, something like that.
Magic cigarettes.
Exactly. Yeah, that was fine. They weren't causing any problem. And they were sat at the back, and then one of them brought out these kind of glow-in-the-dark juggling balls.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
And started kind of doing this juggling. And again, I thought, well, that's kind of all right. It was entertaining. And everything was going okay until one of them wandered around the pub and went over to this table where people were eating food and took a sausage off of the plate of one of the diners.
That's just bang out of order.
It was bang out of order. Oh, God, I did a joke. And just sort of started eating it, just standing there as if everything was fine. And then... And
this was a ghost that was eating a sausage?
No, this was just a very strange gentleman.
Okay.
Very strange. I wish it was a ghost. That would have been even better. But then I kind of had to approach him and ask him to politely leave, at which point he kind of started addressing everybody in the building by the front door, doing some very grand hand gestures, and took a good 5 minutes or so to put various curses onto the building before he left.
And how I wouldn't even know where to start putting a curse on a building owner. What was he saying?
Well, he was, I think, trying to talk in some sort of tongue, but I'm not sure he knew really what he was saying because he was fairly spaced out. And generally just cursing anyone who came vaguely near him.
And how did this curse, Iona, how did it impact on your life?
Oh, it's just been dreadful. Really. It's had a horrible...
Don't cry, it's all right, you can tell us.
It's quite emotional, actually, yeah.
It's had no impact whatsoever,
Did it sour your milk? Did it sour your milk?
It creeped me out for a few minutes because he was pretty bizarre, and I thought maybe, for a little split second, the doubt kind of flickers in your mind and think maybe there is something weird going on. Yeah. But then I realised everything was just rubbish.
He was just a wally.
He was just a massive wally, yeah.
And a sausage thief, which none of us like.
That was just I couldn't believe it when he did that. I couldn't believe it. You know, it wasn't even a bit of a sausage, it was a whole sausage. It's just
Had the person... Here's the thing. Had the person left the sausage on the plate, because I often think when I'm in a greasy spoon, never in any other restaurant, but when I'm in a greasy spoon and someone leaves like a slice of in fact I've done it in front of you, haven't I, Kath? In Prizzy's, we used to go. Someone left a round of toast, and I thought, well, I'm not letting that go to waste.
But it wasn't on their plate; it was on a side plate, wasn't it?
Yeah, but still, I would always have Kelly's leftovers.
You'd have mine.
You don't want to waste it. Kelly would always leave food, and I would tuck straight into her eggs. Delicious.
No, this fella literally just reached in front of someone and just swiped the sausage off the plate.
Oh, that's bang out of order. Bang out of order. Iona, listen, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you calling in. 0844 499 1000. Last 3 minutes of this hour, and then afterwards we'll take straight to air, and anyone can call in with straight to air. And I hope you don't mind indulging me. And we're going to do this for the rest of May. We're going to make it tough. We're going to do this for the rest of May. Every Monday, we will, if you've called in the last 2 weeks, then
have a break.
Have a little break. And, it means we have to work a bit harder. Maybe we'll get a guest for next Monday.
The thing is, it'll keep. Whatever you wanted to talk about today, you can talk about tomorrow.
Hey, we had a good day at the, this is what the whole show's meant to be about. The weekend, I had the boys on Saturday, my 2 boys. We went swimming. We got to the leisure pool 2 minutes before it opened, so there was a bit of a queue, but when we got in, boom, there weren't that many people there. It would have got packed a bit later. It was a nice day, so everyone was out, and we were like, sensible. So we went to the leisure pool, and we went down. My youngest goes on the water slide now, which was...
He owns it now, doesn't he?
But, the eldest owns it. The youngest had to go down with me, but that was fun. And then we went and played in the park. And then we went and had the most fun... Because I was thinking I could there's nothing in the pictures, but it's a nice day.
Yeah, shame to sit indoors, isn't it?
Yeah, so we went out to, the woods. We went to the woods, and we took a picnic. We stopped off at Tesco and bought some sandwiches and some crisps and some olives, because the youngest likes that.
Wow.
And some bits and pieces. And then we went and collected the dog, and we went over to the woods, and there's, a big field. We were there for about 2.5, 3 hours, right? And there are these 2 little streams, and I say little, I mean literally, they in one of them they cover your feet, the other one it goes up to the boys' knees. But they're 2 foot wide, if that. And there's these little bridges. And they went and played in the stream for an hour and a half, and it was, and I showed you the pictures. It was brilliant. And all these people were coming past walking their dogs, and the boys had stripped down to they rolled their trousers up and they're taking their tops off and stuff. And taking their shoes and socks off. And everyone's going, you don't see that very often. You don't see that anymore these days. And I thought, I don't want to be all Daily Mail and stuff, but I go and walk the dog over there all the time, right? And I never see little kiddies playing in the stream. And they were covering themselves with mud. They didn't want to put sun cream on, and so they put mud all over their bodies. And they looked an absolute man. They were throwing clay around, and they were making...
They were doing what little boys used to do in the olden times.
They were making little clay pots and stuff like that. And there are no fish in it. It's like a tiny little, shallow little thing. And I just thought, isn't it... well, I don't know. Maybe people do it. And it's kind of one of those things that we've got into our head that people don't do anymore. Anyway, we'll talk about that a bit later on. Listen, we're coming to the end of the second hour. This is Iain Lee on Talk Radio. Catherine, go and try and salvage a podcast out of this nonsense if you can. Don't call for a few minutes, guys. The way the next hour works is slightly different. If you're a new caller, it's a slightly different way of... a new listener... Slightly different way of doing things. Store this phone number, though. You will need it. 0844 499 1000. I'll tell you what happens after we have a little bit of this.
Talk Radio.
OK, this is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. For the next hour of the show, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to talk, I'm going to look through the papers. Kath has gone off, so it's me and you, guys. It's just me and you. Calls straight to air. You won't speak to Id, you won't speak to Catherine, you will bypass that system completely. You'll phone up, I'll see you flashing on the screen, I'll touch the screen, you come on the air. It's as simple as that. Don't swear, don't be libelous, anyone is welcome to play.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
He has made a covenant with the night, and with the darkness he is in agreement.
Uncut, after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Evening, this is Iain Lee, this is Talk Radio. Things are a little bit different for the last hour of the show. By the way, for the new listeners, there is a best of podcast. That is where Catherine has gone. She's going to make a podcast, and straight after the show it will be up on iTunes and Podbean and all of your usual podcast providers. But for the next hour of the show, I sit here, I talk about stuff in the papers and stuff that's going on, and you can call in and you can talk about that stuff or anything you want, or you can make funny noises down the phone, you can have a go at me, you can tell me you think the show's rubbish, you can play audios, you can play the telly, you can do whatever you want, really. 0844 499 1000. 7 pence a minute, plus access charge, significantly more from mobiles. 0844 499 1000. If you don't want to call, and it's a warm evening and it's interesting how changes in the weather have an effect on phoning shows. And I haven't done a late night phoning show for years and years and years. And the last time I did it, we played music as well. So we had a get out clause. If we didn't get many phone calls, we could play music and stuff like that. But when it's warmer, when it's hotter, you get, at night, you get less calls because people are either out and about, having a booze up, I don't know, whatever they're doing, or they are in bed and they're too restless, or they're irritable. There are all these different stuff. You get less calls, and that's great timing for us as we enter the summer. So, but this hour you can do whatever you want, and it's an interesting glimpse into the psyche of the nation, a snapshot as to how people are feeling. 0844 499 1000. It works like this. Look, I can see line 1 is flashing, so I touch the screen and go, line 1, you're on the air?
Oh, it's gone blank.
Oh, God, it's gone blank.
Hello?
Yes. It was worth it. It was worth it. Line 2, you're on the wireless.
Hello, Ian.
Dennis!
I'll tell you what, your children in those streams brought back very happy memories of me.
Turn your radio off, Dennis. Go on.
Standing in one of those muddy pools and make the mud come through your toes, ripping your toes in the mud. Oh, God, it was great.
It's fun, isn't it? It's fun, isn't it? And I was sat there, and I didn't get in, but next time I'm going to get in with them. But I was sat there, and I had already, because I had a towel, and they kept putting mud on them, and they said, "Daddy, are we allowed to do this?" I said, "Boys, you get as filthy as you want. You're not going to tell us off." I said, "Get filthy. Come on, put it all over you if that's what you want to do."
Yeah. Those were the days when we used to have fun when we went out. Now, of course, if you haven't got a telephone stuck to your ear, they're not interested in it. These lots of lovely things that didn't cost anything and have a roaring time.
The first thing they did when they got into the stream, though, Dennis, was they both pulled down their pants and did a wee.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They
cold water on it.
Well, but they like weeing outside as well. They're very weird like that. But it's good, and I remember doing that as a kid. And I said, look, and I gave them the option to strip down to their pants. They chose not to. They wanted to roll up their trouser legs, and we just an hour and a half just them paddling about in a stream while I was sat there laughing.
Well, you see, we didn't have to roll up trouser legs because we were all in shorts to start with.
Yeah, you see, yeah.
Don't forget, it was a great day when you got out of shorts and into long trousers.
There you go.
When you left 14.
How's things going, Dennis? You all right, fella?
Yeah, we get by. It's like everything else. We've got a laugh. Christ, what's left in the world if you don't understand it? Have a laugh.
And it's true.
I try to leave people when they ring me. I'm not nasty-minded. I try and leave them laughing. When I want information from people, I get talking, tell them a joke, and it's surprising the amount of help you get if you leave them laughing.
You're one of the good ones, Dennis.
Well, I try. I wouldn't say I'm a good one, but I keep trying.
All right, man. I'll see you later on. Take care.
Bye-bye. Have a nice time.
He's going to be 92 in May, if he makes it. I went to see 50 Shades of Grey with that man. Line 1, you're on the wireless.
Hello.
Hello, Line 1.
Hello, love. I like being outside as well, Ian.
There's something
liberating.
There's something very freeing. I'll be honest, my youngest wanted to do a number 2, and I drew the line at that. I've done it in the past when he's been desperate, and we've used a handkerchief, but I could never subscribe to the wiping your bum on a leaf.
Oh, well, I was going to just reminisce about my old days as a kid. He brought memories back for me, talking about your lads.
Go
and
on.
the village I live in, I grew up in as well. We've got sort of like you go down a bit of a lane and there's a brook, and that's when we were really young, that's where we'd venture to. And we'd have them little cheap bamboo fishing nets catching sticklebacks and stuff. And then as we got a bit older, we'd venture further down this track and it'd go off into the fields. And we used to build swing ropes. And
beautiful.
I mean, we spent hours and hours and hours of numerous summers down there on the swing rope. And it was right at the top of a hill, like a bank, and we'd swing down and jump off, seeing if we could sort of like jump off over the other side of the brook into the field. And one of my mates landed on a barbed wire fence.
Flippin' heck!
I landed in 6 foot high stinging nettles once, but we had a mate. And he'd quite often, if he needed to go for a number 2, he was happy to, use a dock leaf. I never did it, and I never could.
No, I don't approve of... weeing outside, beautiful. Yes, of course, let's all do it. I don't approve of poos outside.
Did you ever, right, this is linked to this.
Here we go.
When you were a kid playing hide and seek...
Yes.
Now, me and my mate laugh about this now. We call it the hide and seek feeling. Whenever you were playing hide and seek... you always seem to need a number 2. I don't know whether it's adrenaline or what. But you sort of crouch, you're hiding in a bush.
Yes.
You find the ultimate spot to hide, and nobody's going to find you, and you sort of crouch there, sitting there thinking,
Ross,
I need to go to the toilet.
Ross, thank you very much for that. Let's thank you for that, Ross. Excellent call. I don't know if that's a known phenomenon of people needing to do that when they play hide and seek. That's how it works, guys. It's as simple as that. You want to play? And I saw a couple of people calling them when I was speaking to Russ, and then they put the phone down. Doesn't matter. We've got 50 minutes of this. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. The Sun today is a really weird newspaper. We've already talked about Kelvin Mackenzie coming across as the slimy, spineless, cowardly... Oh, do you know what? I'm going to block you for being an idiot. Spineless, cowardly little SH1T that he is when he's... he accepts no responsibility for the Sun's headline on Hillsborough. I fell for the lies from the police, lock, stock and barrel, he says. All right, poor you, Kelvin. Must be really tough for you, Kelvin. But then the front page of the Sun is the weirdest. I'm looking at it as a front page and I'm thinking, I don't get it. I don't get what the front page is about. I'll tell you in a second what it is. Yes, line 1.
Hi, this is Wayne, first time caller.
What's your name, first time caller?
Wayne.
Wayne?
Yeah.
Hello, Wayne. Whereabouts are you calling from?
Birmingham.
Birmingham. Ah, lovely Birmingham. I used to work there. I love Birmingham.
Yeah, what station did you work at?
I used to work at BBC WM 95.6.
Oh, it's a good station.
No, it's not. It's run by Muppets and drones. What have you called in for, Wayne?
I want to talk about Guy Goma.
Oh, yeah, it's the 10th anniversary of Guy Goma. What are your memories of Guy?
He's a very funny lad, he was. The way he went to the BBC for a job interview and then talking about Apple like he knew what he was talking about when he didn't have a clue at all.
There are some people, including Super Sexy, I can't say the last word of her Twitter name because it's a racial swear word, who are claiming you're a fake caller, Wayne.
No, I'm not fake.
Are you sure?
Definitely.
What's your date of birth?
27/5/81.
There we go. The way she delivered that birthday was pretty speedy. That can't be fake. 0844 499 1000. Evening, this is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. We're taking calls straight to air. Let's go to line 1. 1, you're on the wireless.
Three 971 5. 39715.
Sounds like the number station in March, you're right, yes.
1 5 3 9 7 1 5
Thank you for that, caller.
3 9 7 1 5 3 9 7 1.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. I was getting 9015, but I wasn't getting the... I don't know. Anyway, I enjoyed that. It was good. Yes, line 2, you're on the wireless.
'Cause you probably work at an all-night garage. You probably work at an all-night garage. You probably work at an all-night garage with talk radio on.
Thank you very much indeed. Line 1, you're on the wireless.
Oh, hi, am I on the air now?
You're on the air now, yes.
Ah, it's Bruce from Ilford.
Hello, Bruce. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. We've got a bit of a funny connection, Ian. This goes back quite a few years, but I booked... no, not like that.
Oh.
But it was my suggestion to book you on Ready, Steady, Cook. the celebrity version of Ready, Steady, Cook.
Oh, we didn't meet on that day, did we?
We did, but I was a lonely runner.
How did a runner, how was a runner's suggestion not ignored and laughed off immediately?
Well, because it was obviously a good suggestion.
Oh, mate, I had a great... Well, thank you for that. I had a great time doing that. You're very, very kind. What are you doing now?
Oh, well, I left the TV industry.
Good. Me too.
Because, yeah, well, you know why as well. Got into sales and stuff like that. But there's another thing about that day which you have no idea about.
Yeah, go on.
So the first thing to do was to get you on the show.
Yeah.
Or like, suggest it. And they did that. That was great.
Yeah.
Then I reached out to a friend of yours.
Yeah.
Well, I say friend, kind of friend of me, really. I reached out to Barry from Watford.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember, but there was a segment where Ainsley would go into the audience and get an audience member to ask a question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to set it up for Barry to come and be that guest.
And it didn't happen?
It didn't happen because he wasn't available that day.
Oh, do you know, he's never told me that. How funny. He's never, ever told me that.
The thing is, as well, what I was really trying to do was kind of try and do it very sneakily, because obviously no one on the production would have noticed Barry being there.
Yeah.
Except you,
wouldn't that have been funny?
Me and him.
Wouldn't that have been funny? But what was your name again, mate? Bruce?
Bruce.
Oh, thank you for that, Bruce. I had such... it was me and Christian O'Connell doing it. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the con about fake TV. You know when you know this, Bruce, but when on Ready, Steady, Cook, when you turn up with your bag of shopping, I didn't have a clue what was in it. I had to be shown, literally before I went on stage, what was in my bag of shopping.
There's another lie to that as well, Ian.
Oh, go on.
Because do you remember they gave you different coloured bags and there were different values?
Yeah.
So, like, you had to say, oh, this bag costs £7.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, costs always way more than that.
Really?
It was always organic and... Oh, yeah.
Oh, flipping it. What? I can't... Yeah. If you can't believe Ainsley, what can you... But Percy Pepper and Tommy Tomato, what can you believe?
This is why I had to leave him. It's why I had to leave.
Oh, mate, well, listen, I appreciate you suggesting me for that. And what a lovely phone call, mate. I took my mother-in-law that day. She loved it. And my mum watched it at home and she loved it. So you made two old women very happy and I had a great time. Thank you for that, Bruce.
No problem at all.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Ta-ta. Bye-bye. There we go. What a nice bloke. He got me booked on Ready, Steady, Cook, that fella. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? 0844 499 1000. So the front page of The Sun doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever as the front page of a newspaper. Doesn't make any sense at all. It was me and Christian O'Connell, right? And I remember, I tell you what, I like Christian a lot. He's a nice bloke and he's always been very kind to me. He nicked a gag. When we had to go out and do like a little rehearsal in the studio, just so we got used to where we were and stuff like that, I did a gag and then he nicked it. He used it really early on in the record, so I didn't have a chance to get it out. I won Ready, Steady, Cook. I had a plate. I wonder what happened to that plate. Well, that's gone. That'll be gone. I could have sold that on eBay for a fortune. I've lost it. It's gone. I think when we moved from I had an apron that was signed by Ainsley, and a big ready, steady cook plate. And I think when we moved out from the flat into the house, I think it went. 0844 499 1000 is the phone number. 7 pence a minute plus access charge, significantly more from mobiles. So the Sun today has gone nuts. So it's got Kelvin Mackenzie denying all responsibility for the appalling Hillsborough coverage that the Sun did. Right. And the front page of the Sun is the weirdest thing. Right? There's a picture of Alicia Dixon looking hot. I mean, she's a beautiful young lady. Although it doesn't look like Alicia Dixon at all. It doesn't look anything like her. Right. But the front page headline: Brand to be a dad. Romeo Russell's lover pregnant. I mean, Comic 40 delighted. It's an exclusive by Stephen Moyes. It's not, because it's in some of the other papers as well. Romeo Russell. This is the front page of Britain's biggest selling newspaper, right? And I have no idea why. Romeo Russell Brand is to be a father for the first time, and he's delighted. Partner Laura Gallagher, 27, is 5 months pregnant, and legendary womanizer Brand, 40, is said to be counting the days to the birth. A friend said Russell and Laura are thrilled to bits at the prospect of becoming parents. Full story, page 5. It continues. 0844 499 1000, by the way. Toys R Us. I want to see what they've done there. Comics joy over first baby. Romeo may now settle down. Russell Brand's... And it goes on, there's a whole story, a whole page about a 40-year-old man is going to be a dad. And I'm thinking... Where is the interesting part of this story? Isn't there stuff going on in the rest of the world? Hang on. It turns out there isn't, because if you look at the rest of the front pages, there's nothing going on. The front page of the Daily Mirror, I know where Moore's killer buried Keith. Well, all right. So I saw that headline in the petrol station today, and I thought, yeah, bullshine. That's someone who wants a little bit of attention. 0844 499 1000. The Daily Mail has got a front page picture of who's Hugh's date? It's Mrs. Bonneville. Smiles, the actor and his wife Lulu at last night's BAFTAs. Why on earth is Hugh Bonneville getting so much press coverage at the moment? I don't understand it. I know he's in a new play, but as far as I'm aware, the play is kind of in the middle of nowhere. And he's getting a lot of press coverage, which is very, very odd. And then the Daily Star, Britain's greatest newspaper, the Great British Fake Off. Now, this is news. This is news, guys. Basking Brits are set to throw sickies in their thousands today as they see out the glorious 27 degrees heatwave. Most of the UK will enjoy more sizzling sunshine before storms arrive tomorrow. Now, I'm hoping it will storm. It's very close, isn't it? Of course I know. It's very close, isn't it? And we need a good thunderstorm to break the weather. Speaking of good weather, here's something. Well, there's the Star's the only one that's got decent papers, decent stories in today. There really does. I know that there's like EU and Brexit and all that, and we can't talk about it because the election's coming up, and both sides just seem to be. One side will say something spurious, and the other one will deny that, but then throw something equally as spurious back, and it's very confusing. I'm glad we can't talk about it. A, because it's dull, and B, because I haven't got a clue what's going on. 0844 499 1000. But the Sun has got two stories. Okay. Punt Wars. Steady. Punt Wars. Steady. Punt Wars River Blitz. This is in Cambridge. Now, if you've ever been to Cambridge, it's nice Cambridge, right? But they do overdo the punting just a little bit. Just a little bit. They do like to have a punt. And I don't trust those guys. Is it the same? The punters, are they the same? You don't need a licence, I don't think, to punt. I think you can just rock up with a boat and a stick and you can do it. Much in the same way that the in London and other cities, they have those little not pedalos. Pedalos are another form of bike.
Rickshaws?
The rickshaws, thank you very much indeed. But they're not proper rickshaws, because they're pedalling. I want my rickshaw to be pulled by someone wearing a hat. A triangular hat. That's what I want. Punt Wars River Blitz. Worried river wardens are splashing out on a patrol boat to stop punt wars. Feuding tour operators have caused chaos on the River Cam in Cambridge as they battle to dominate the lucrative industry. I mean, how much can you make? How much can you make? Someone's talking about pedalos on Periscope. From punting. The conservators of the River Cam, who will spend £10,000 on the vessel. Here we go. Here we go. We'll also tackle. Illegal operators over fears congestion has made the river unsafe. Has anyone ever actually done that thing? I've seen someone falling off of a punt. I suspect they were probably drunk. I think there's a lot of boozing going on at that kind of place. But has anyone ever done that thing where you punt and then you get stuck on the stick and you end up holding the stick? You know, like in comedy programmes and shiz. Has that ever actually happened? 0844 499 1000. River manager Jed Ramsey. River manager. I'd like to have more of a visible presence on the river. We can use the boat for licence checking and also recovering, here we go, abandoned punts and boats. And it gets even more mysterious. Or a gondola, someone's asking what the difference between a punt and a gondola. A gondola has the curly bits at the end, like the funny slippers. The boat will also be used to round up swans, which can be aggressive during punt races. What the hell is going on in Cambridge, for crying out loud? They're having punt races? There are aggressive swans getting in the way? This is absolute nonsense. 0844 499 1000. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. Well, so far, we've got 30 minutes of the show to go. Where have we been this hour? We've talked about Ready, Steady, Cook, a programme that I did. I can't remember if we got paid for Ready, Steady, Cook. I think we did. I know for Come Dine With Me, you got $3,000, I think it was, for Come Dine With Me, I think. And if I'd known Lembit Opik was going to be on there, I'd have asked for twice that at least. Flipping it. The bloke was an absolute nightmare to deal with. An absolute nightmare. I wish I'd kept the video footage I shot on my telephone of him off his face on sugar, bouncing up and down on Jodie Marsh's trampoline, swearing and sticking his fingers up at all that he'd recently lost an election, and he was furious. Yeah, sugar. And he was furious, and he was slagging off everyone who didn't vote for him. And I just remember saying to him, but Lembit, that's democracy. You know, maybe if you'd spent less time on the red carpet and less time hanging out with, going out with pop stars and weather girls, more time doing, MPing things, then maybe you wouldn't have got voted out. But I can't remember if I got paid. I must have got paid for Ready, Steady, Cook. I remember it was like miles away from where I lived, to an absolute age to get there. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It was like sort of southwest London somewhere, but really out in the sticks. It wasn't Twickenham. Well, Twickenham was out in the sticks, but it was miles away. And it was just the weirdest day. And Ainsley Harriott, was charming and delightful and all the time. It's like Mike TV on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where he goes in the TV. And I've done so many jobs where it's like, man, I'm actually stood in the TV. I had the same feeling with that. Same feeling with Mastermind, with The Weakest Link. Same feeling with the weakest link. Very, very odd. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number, although I suspect... that we may have used up all of our phone calls for this evening, and that's absolutely fine if that's the case. Absolutely fine. We'll sit here and chat quite happily, but we've got the answer phone. I haven't got the number for the answer phone, but I will give it to you at the end of this. Basically, it's a phone number which you can call up. In fact, I can get the answer phone up now if I open Skype on my computer. You can phone up this number. Oh, no, you can't. Oh, God, my whole thing's crashed. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you phone up a number, you leave a message on Skype, and I collect them after a few days, and I play them. And it sounds, Go Away, Bare Naked Ladies, karaoke style. Come here, answer phone. It sounds like this.
Close down Twitter. Close down Twitter. Bring back the bitch for anyone on Twitter. The show's great, Ian.
When will you lay me an egg for my tea?
Where is Edward Ado and his theme tune?
Hi, Ian. This is Jimothy Hall Barrow. I just wanted to telephone you and say that as I'm a privileged middle-class white male, and because of this fact, I'm allowed to be arrogant, patronising, and rude to whomever I choose. Good day, sir. Jacinta, if you spill that quinoa on my genuine fair trade Bolivian poncho, I will literally slap you purple. Jacinta? But that's it, I'm going to give you such a pinch.
Can I just say, Gatford, you've got the voice of an angel.
Hello, mate. You're free to talk, mate. Who do you support, mate? Okay, mate. I'll put you through, mate.
I don't think it works. It hung up on me. Anyway, nice bit of culture. I've written a haiku called Paris Kaiku. Here we go. Ian speaks to the gang. Cat gauges over the mic. We stare at our phones. All right, ta-da, later on, bye.
0844 499 1000 is the phone number if you want to call now. If you want to call the answer phone, do you know what? I've got that open now, so you can either call now and come on the air, or you can call it during the night or the day and leave a message. 020 8133 6732. 0208 133 6732. Line 1, you're on the wireless. Oh, hello, line 1.
You alright?
I'm alright.
Yeah. Who is your favourite Big Brother contestant of all time, including Celebrity Big Brother?
That's a very good question.
I'm going Perez Hilton for me.
I don't think I watched the Perez Hilton.
Oh,
I don't think I was working. Well, no, come on. I didn't. I don't think I watched it.
All right, I'll leave you to the question then.
Can I ask why it's so important to you?
It's not that important, to be honest. I just thought of a bath.
Okay.
If you don't have an answer, I'm sure I'll get to sleep.
Okay. Well, you go to sleep. I'll have a think, and something may pop up.
All right, mate. Cheers.
Ta-ta. No.
Bye.
Sleep well. And that really is it. you can literally. No, not Brian. I like Brian. I suppose Lola. I suppose Lola, because she's a mate now, isn't she? And that's it. You can call in about anything you want. 08. No, 0844 499 1000. Then there's the other story in. There's the other story in the papers. It's in some of the papers. It's in quite a few of the papers, but the Star, I think, cover it the best. Where is it? Oh, where is it gone? I can't read my own writing. I like it when the show dissolves. It's dissolving now, and I like it when it does that. Oh yeah, Prince Harry. Prince Harry's got a tough life, hasn't he? Hasn't he just? Prince Harry, I don't want to sit on my arse. Royals struggle to find the right job. I wonder how many times you've seen him down the job centre. Prince Harry yesterday hit back at claims he is work shy. The royal insisted he does not get any satisfaction from sitting at home on my arse. Oh, come on, man. He's got, Xbox 3 and PlayStation 7. And all of the new games. Line 1, you're on the wireless.
Hello. Have you seen the recent film?
Hang on a second. Hang on. We've got a phone call on Skype. Hang on a second. Stay there. Yes, Skype?
I will.
Hello, Skype? I can hear you. They bottled it. Right, sorry. Carry on. Yes, I do apologise. How rude.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Have you seen Love and Mercy?
The Brian Wilson film. Yes, I have.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I also appreciated it was a fictional recounting of various events.
How much of the film is fictional?
Well, I don't know for sure, but I suspect huge chunks of it are.
Yeah. I did wonder, and I thought you were the man to ask. I thought the recreation of the pet sound sessions were beautiful, weren't they?
I thought they were great. I know Carol Kay hates it, but then she's a miserable old cow. Who said
Why did she hate them?
Because Carol Kay is the most miserable person in the world, and I know this from experience after emailing her, and she sent me nothing back but vile abuse. For those who don't know, Carol Kay is one of the most famous bass players in the world, although you won't know her, but she played on loads of 60 songs. And there's a bit where there's a bit where she questions Brian for having two people playing different keys, and he says, "Don't worry, try it, it'll be fine." And she was really angry because she said, "Well, I wouldn't have asked that." But Eugene Landy, Brian's psychiatrist in the mid-70s for a few years, and then again in the 80s, I find he's dead now, unfortunately. Well, he's dead. I would love to have interviewed him. I find him absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Because he saved.
I wondered about him, perhaps most of all, actually.
A lot of that is true. I don't know about that. I know that he met she's now his wife, Melinda, as a car dealership. I don't know how much of that exactly is true. But Eugene Landy controlled Brian Wilson's life, and Brian was not allowed to go anywhere without. They were called the Surf Nazis, and it was a team of Eugene's people who worked for Eugene Landy, and they would go and they would film everything that Brian Wilson did. There's a brilliant.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's true. And he ended up taking a load of money. He got paid an absolute fortune. In the end, the other Beach Boys had to come back in and argue that Brian was being exploited. And it got really nasty. And Brian Wilson was told. There's some really good clips on YouTube. If you and I want to try and find. There's a brilliant bit. Hang on a second. Brian Wilson, Eugene. There's a really famous interview where Eugene Landy gets torn apart. Right. 20-minute homework, right? Brian Wilson, Primetime Live, 1991. Go and watch that.
Okay.
Go and watch that, and it'll blow your mind. Honestly, it's Brian Wilson being questioned, basically saying he loves Eugene Landy, and then Eugene Landy in a separate interview being torn apart. It's it's weird because Landy, saved Brian Wilson's life, and I don't think he gets the credit for that. Brian Wilson would have been dead if it hadn't been for Dr. Landy. But you know, how much damage was he doing? Line 2, you're on the wireless. It sounds like he's saying something rude. Oh, there we go. We're about to enter the eternal loop there. Thank you. 2 excellent calls. 0844 499 1000. Oh, I was going to play a bit of music, wasn't it? I'm so tired. It's just, it doesn't matter at all. Ah, man alive, I'm tired. Last 15 minutes. Kath, do you want to come and join me for the last 15 minutes of the show? Why the hell not? So this is Iain Lee, this is Talk Radio. Should we have a little listen to what you could have been? You all right?
Oh, I'm weary.
I know, I'm flagging today.
I didn't sleep last night, really. I didn't get to sleep till about 1:30.
Oh, really?
Too hot.
That would explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a listen to what you... let me just stop... we'll play that again in a minute. Right, someone that's an advert. We don't want to give someone else some free advertising. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. More than welcome to. It's been quiet on the calls, but I tell you what, the calls we've had have, without exception, been brilliant tonight, and that's why it's worth. Why I think it's worth pursuing this and making it a little bit harder for ourselves. On
Also, I think if you listen a lot and you hear the same voices over and over again, you can be forgiven for thinking that we only want those people, and it's not that we don't want them; it's that we want you as well.
Here we go. This is what you could have been listening to.
If you would ask, why am I arrested? Oh, don't worry, we find a charge when we get there. All of this thing I've been through.
This isn't Katie Hopkins, but this is Katie Hopkins is on the other side. They've put her in for a week because they're desperate. They are starting to panic. They're realising personality radio, maybe that's what we need at night time. So they got this.
White people took over black people's country.
Oh.
I was just telling the guy I spoke to.
Yeah.
In Barbados.
She can't get a word in.
She cannot get a word in Edgware. And for Hopkins,
I'm really interested. So you have been turned down for jobs to your face with people giving you the reason it's because of the colour of your skin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting story. And do you know what? She's doing it really, really badly. Because she's not, hey, listen, if anyone can get a gig in this business, then congratulations to them.
But it's an interesting thing. If they are putting that up against us, it's like, well, let's not try and do something funny or different. Let's just go for anger.
Let's just go for anger and hatred and division, guys.
People love that stuff.
And we can do that stuff. We will do that stuff from time to time. But also, it's just kind of nice to do something that's nice and friendly and inclusive and a bit of a laugh.
Do you want to listen to that in bed, though? Someone yelling?
I've had a load of people on Twitter today. A couple of people, I'm thinking of specifically, said, "I'm so glad I found you tonight. I can't fall asleep with Hopkins in my ears." And, angry late night rate. And we can do the angry, and people want to phone in and be angry, then that's groovy, man. But, let's have a laugh as well. But there's nothing in the papers worthy of, no, I tell you what, this is a funny story. This is a funny story. And how do you pronounce her name? Michelle Money?
Moan.
See, I did a joke there.
Did you?
I've really boobed. She is the sexy lady that makes bras. Sexy bras.
Canny businesswoman.
No. She's a fit fox that makes fine underwear for you ladies, so us men.
Canny businesswoman who happens to be as attractive as she is successful.
No, you're not hearing me. She's one hot mama, and she's making bras so that even plain mamas can be hotter.
Oh, yeah, sorry, my mistake.
Lingerie tycoon Michelle Money.
Moan.
Do you get it?
That's not even really a moan, is it?
It's a joke, but it's not even
More
really a joke.
A whimper.
It's a small joke about this big. May be known for giving women plenty of lift. That's clever.
And separate.
But do you remember the 0844 499 1000? The cross your heart bras. But how do you get your boobs looking so perky? It's not me. It's my cross your heart bra.
I had something quite similar when I was pregnant, and I had the pointiest 1950s boobs you've ever seen in your life in those bras.
The Donna Vogue.
Yeah, like proper. Have your eye out if you're not careful. Boobs.
The shape. that society finds attractive, the shape of women that society finds attractive, isn't it? Who changes it?
Exactly.
Because it changes
in the 50s,
a lot.
Did they go, whoa, look at the points on that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I tell you, I used to have such a big crush on. And I used to watch these films when I was a kid, and I can't think of her name. She was in like English black and white comedies in like the 50s and 60s.
Diana Dawes?
No, not as voluptuous as Diana Dawes. What was her name? She's in a few of the Carry On films. But she's more in like some early Peter Sellers films. I can't think what her name. I had such a crush on her, and I saw her recently. She's really old now,
well, that
obviously,
happens.
but she's still so fine. But I can't think what her name is. Anyone? Any suggestion? If you want to suggest on, there we go. Roger's found us because of Hopkins on the other. Hopkins being on is the reason why I'm listening to you now. Nice one, Roger.
Was it
That'll do
Anita
me.
Harris?
No. 0844 499
Who is this mystery woman?
British. What do I want to type in? Female actors.
Carry On.
1960s. Well, I don't think she's in that many carry-ons. Let's have a little look here. Let's have a little look-see here. None of these women that have popped up, but well, why is she in it? She's not 60s. The radio show's degenerated into me Googling who I used 60s. To fancy.
Yeah, Googling 60s babes.
Oh, there's got to be. Let's try 1950s. Someone, we've got no calls. No one's listening.
Give us a clue. What colour hair did she have?
Blonde.
Right.
She was definitely blonde. I haven't got a clue who it was, and we may never know.
You can do that in your private time, maybe.
No, not Sophia Loren. She was British. She was a British.
Sophia Loren, though, flipping.
No.
A whole lot of woman.
Too obvious.
No, gorgeous.
No. Too obvious. Too obvious for me.
Mm.
I'm trying to think if I could think of a film that she was in. Maybe she was in Carry On Sergeant. Let's have a look. Carry On Sergeant. Joyce Grenfell's in Carry On Sergeant.
It wasn't her.
Oh, she looked hot in that.
You're kidding me!
Oh, I had a thing for Joyce Grenfell. I went out with a girl that looked like... Tess looked like Joyce Grenfell.
Crikey.
Yeah, definitely. Here it is. Here she is. Right, if I could just find out what her... Oh, look at her. She's such a sweetheart. Let me find out her name. Cast. Come on, be in the cast list. Oh, this is so she's in the film and there's a picture of her.
Well, let me look at the picture at least.
Well, I've seen the picture.
Well, I haven't.
Hang on a minute, let me go into IMDb. No, hang on a minute. Oh, dearie me. This is... How do I see all the cast? Full cast and crew. Not Dora Bryan.
Oh, I've got a story about Dora Bryan.
Oh, yeah, can you tell it on the radio?
Yeah, I'll tell it. Right. My dad had a friend who used to stay quite often at a B&B.
Yeah.
When he was working away from home. And he was such a frequent visitor to this B&B, he could sort of just let himself in and out and just grabbed his key, went up to his room.
Yeah.
They didn't have stand on ceremony with him.
Of course not.
So one night, he grabs his key, goes
By
up
the way,
to his...
this is content now, guys. We've got content
No, this is a good one. He goes up to his regular room, climbs in bed. There's a woman in the bed.
Whoa.
That's a woman screaming.
Yeah.
Not only is there a woman in the bed, it's Dora Bryan.
Flippin' heck, eh? And what happened?
He jumped out again and said he was very sorry, and then he realised that his room had been given over to a faded actress. But she was very delightful about it apparently the next morning, but he can say that he's been in bed with Dora Bryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, would you welcome Ms. Liz Fraser?
Oh, what is it about the stockings and suspender clad Liz Fraser?
That's not her usual look. Liz Fraser. And look, there she is as an old woman. And she's still just absolutely stunning.
Oh, I remember her.
Liz Fraser.
Oh, I remember her.
I had such a crush on her. Thanks, Periscopers. Such a crush on her.
Well, now you can find her and finally make it work.
Well, I don't think...
Go on, I'm sure she's been waiting for you all these years.
Lingerie tycoon Michelle Money...
Oh, yes, that story.
...may be known for giving women...
Moan.
It's
Plenty of groan.
Yes, miss, but plenty of lift, but it is unlikely this middle-aged man expected the same treatment. So she picked up this kid.
Cute,
right?
cute kid.
Some do, I don't know. So he brings
She's
her
in Vietnam,
flowers.
isn't she?
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, she was.
So he comes up to her, this little kiddie, gives her some flowers. She goes, "Oh, that's so lovely." It picks him up, gives him a cuddle, right? But he's 46 years old. He's a married man. He shouldn't be giving flowers to her then, should he, if he's married? Flipping outrageous. 0844 499 1000, last few minutes of the show. To the surprise of her, the Ultimo boss scooped up the married 46-year-old. He's not 46.
I read 20s.
This story stinks of bullshine, to be honest. I think he's 9. To the surprise of around 3,000 onlookers after mistaking him for a 6-year-old boy, Baroness Bra, Lady Moan, 44, was oblivious to her error until a woman sitting in the front row shouted, "Put him down, I'm his wife!" There's a picture, Periscopers. You get the benefit of having a look at the little fella. There he is.
I saw her tweet that last night when she'd done it. She's horrified.
The man had gone on stage to present the Tory peer with flowers after she spoke at an entrepreneurs conference in Vietnam. Lady Moan. Oh, God. Insisted the guy was fine with it and the whole room was screaming with laughter.
I'm sure he was fine with it.
Well, I bet he loved it, didn't he? Yes, line 1.
Good evening, Ian. It's Alan Caddick.
Hello, Alan. Nice to talk to you, mate. What you got for us?
It's 10 years since the Guy Goma incident on the BBC.
Yeah, what have you done to celebrate?
Have you found somebody to hold me penis yet?
Not yet, Alan, but we will constantly be looking. Well, this person who met Stuart Sutcliffe and the other murderer.
Are they telling you some yarns?
No, not breaking any confidentialities, but it's interesting. Okay, and then the other thing is spam, spam emails. Jeez, guys, what is it? We're kind of done. I mean, there's 2 minutes of the show. It's been a nice, well, tomorrow we're coming in hard. I'm coming in hard tomorrow. It's been a nice, gentle start to the week. I'm going to start de-rigging.
Okay. Did I tell you about the helicopter that got in the way of the red arrows yesterday?
No.
Yeah.
Go on.
They had to stop the display and we watched this helicopter amble across the sky.
You should have shot it down.
Well, we all were told to give it a very hard stare. And I said to my brother-in-law, who's in the RAF, can they shoot it down legally? And he said, I don't think so. But do you know what they did? They buzzed it.
Oh, really?
They flew quite close to it and gave him a little bit of a shock.
That would... What was he doing? Drones are the problem. Yeah, you know that drone that crashed into that plane the other week?
Didn't happen, did it?
It wasn't a drone, it was a plastic bag. It was a plastic bag.
I didn't know it was a plastic bag. I just thought they couldn't prove it.
It was a plastic bag. There's no drone.
Flipping it. So it was just litter.
So what it is, right, it's the anti-drone lobby spreading their evil bile and their filth and their propaganda to try and curb this fun hobby.
It must have been a bag for life to cause that amount of fuss.
Well...
A bit thicker.
It could have been any... they just, pilots need to toughen up a little bit, and that's what tomorrow's show is going to be about. How wimpy are our pilots these days, and what on earth can we do to toughen those guys and girls up? Because when I'm being flown, I really want... I don't want wimps. I want a tough guy. I want a tough guy. I don't want wimps. Well, the show gently unravelled this evening, and I'm very happy with that. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Ed. We'll be back tomorrow at 10. Ta-ta.
Talk Radio. Dial up some dialogue.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.